The story begins with the boy driving his Ferrari to school, and the name of this lucky guy, none other than Shen Yuan himself. Everyone takes pictures shocked, and soon, a baddie steps out of the car. The guys nearby start complaining, this bastard just entered school and is already dating the goddess of the second year. A doubt of the glasses, his eyes trembling, says that life is easy when you're born rich and good looking. You just pick whoever you want. But his friend beside him disagrees, saying that Shen Yuan isn't just picking whoever he wants, he's picking everyone. Even the first-year girls aren't being spared. Our boy is walking beside his date, and let's just say, she's got that confident posture, chest up to the sky. The girls watching are jealous of her, wondering if they should try to win him over again. One friend, applying lipstick, tells another not to give up, opportunities must be created. Meanwhile, the king himself is just happy. However, this luxurious life of his didn't last long. As soon as he finished high school and went to university, the fun was over. That's because his family, which ran 3 travel agencies, went bankrupt. And not only that, they were left with millions in debt. He gets to his dorm room and calls his friends to play some League of Legends. But they just tell them to scram, saying it's no fun if he's not paying for everything. Right in front of him, our boy realizes he was abandoned by this bunch of fakes the moment he ran out of money. The worst part, his parents and sister now live in a cramped little place while he has to stay in the university dorms. In this situation, all that freedom he once felt disappeared. He thought it was over until something happened. He approaches a girl leaning against the wall. This was his current girlfriend known as Jo Wanting. And right away, she delivers the obvious news, folks. Their relationship is over. She simply says she hopes he finds someone who understands him better in the future. The poor guy is stunned. He says they've been together for 3 years. How can she just break up with him out of nowhere? Does she have no heart? But the girl doesn't spare him. She says their relationship was never built on pure love. Besides, if they ever see each other again, he'd better not call her king. She hates that kind of nickname. Or rather, she already has one foot out the door and tells him never to see her again. Shen Yuan, however, relaxes and lets out a sigh. Just as she reaches for the car door handle, saying her friend has arrived, he stops her. She asks what he wants and he tells her to return all those expensive designer bags he bought for her. This makes her furious. She says that after 3 years of dating, the least she deserves is to keep all the junk he gave her. Shen Yuan tells her that if she doesn't want to return them, they can always go on one last adventure. But she, enraged, just tells him to go to hell. Then the guy in the car calls her Xing and tells her to get in. And while at it, he looks at Shen Yuan and asks if he wants a ride. At that moment, Shen Yuan realizes that when he called her Qing, she made a scene. But when this guy says it, she doesn't care. Still, he simply tells the guy not to worry, he lives nearby. But the man insists, saying he's in no hurry. If Shen Yuan wants a ride, all he has to do is ask. He just wants to make sure the guy gets home safe. However, Shen Yuan knows this bastard only wants to get him in the car to humiliate him. So he leans against the window and tells the guy he really is a good person, but there's no need to worry. He's just a few steps away. He opens the car door for Zhu Wanting and tells the guy to take good care of her because she's a really nice girl. The guy smirks and says not to worry, she's in good hands. And with that, Shen Yuan nods. He says he appreciates those words. Men like them should really give their best to women. That's why it's good for the guy to know that her favorite condoms are mint-flavored. Also, there's no point in buying her overly fancy lingerie. She finds it uncomfortable. And her favorite role-play outfits, doctor and police officer. Right there, he drops all the information for the guy to realize he's a fool. However, the dude in the car isn't too happy with this free lesson and quickly slams the door before speeding off. Shen Yuan is left there thinking that the guy just doesn't understand. He was only trying to help. Besides, he hopes Wan Qing does well in life. After all, she probably thinks this was the best choice. They have nothing to do with each other anymore, so he wishes her the perfect life. Our boy is an emotionless Sigma, folks. Not only did he remain unfazed by the breakup, but he also roasted both of them and walked away unbothered. But then by a twist of fate, the system appears. And it says that maybe everyone deserves the chance to live a perfect life. That's when the perfect life system begins to load. Shen Yuan's stats pop up -21 years old, 1.82 meters tall. Why am I reading this guy's stats? No idea, man. We don't even care about that. Shen Yuan stands there, confused, wondering what kind of madness is appearing in front of him. And then the system speaks. To live the perfect life, he doesn't just need money, he needs admiration from the opposite sex. His first mission is to spend money on appropriate person of the opposite sex with an affinity score of at least 60. By doing this, he will gain more admiration. Whatever amount he spends on her, he will get back multiplied by 3. And if the affinity increased in the meantime, he would earn double. At least the math is easy to understand. He earns 3 times what he spends, and if affinity rises, well, he earns 6 times. He's standing there, glancing around nervously. And then the first victim appears. Folks, it's the trash tier counselor. But let's be real, there's nothing trash about her. She's top tier. She's impressed, saying that Shen Yuan is a real man. A guy shouldn't be suffering just because a girl broke up with him. He's standing there, all unsure, and then he notices something above her head. There's a little heart with 65 inside it. That's her affinity score. Right away, he starts believing that maybe this little system is real, and the counselor tells him to cheer up and not let this bring him down. Feeling a bit embarrassed, he thanks her while thinking that he might have just gained an advantage. Then she comments he applied for a scholarship. Right? After all, the guy's broke as hell, and she says that soon, it might be approved. But clearly, he trusts the system way too much because he immediately tells her not to worry about the scholarship anymore. After all, it wouldn't make much difference considering the size of his family's debt. The trash tier queen tells him that if he ever has any problems in the future, he can come to her, even if it's about romance. With that, she waves and walks away. And Shen Yuan is left thinking she fits all the system's requirements. So in theory, the money should triple. It was time to test it out. So he grabs her hand. He then thanks her for her encouraging words and asks if she'd like to go out for some bubble tea with him. And just like that, he's already investing. She was looking a little shy but happy. And right away, Shen Yuan starts doing the math. He had 87. Damn. This guy is broke. That's barely $15. If the money tripled, he should go up to 99. And that's exactly what happens. That's when he starts thinking if he just kept spending on her, the money would keep multiplying. This was the opportunity he needed to pay off his family's debts and finally get out of this miserable situation. It was time to go back to being his old self, or maybe even better. The problem? Multiplying 99 is nothing. So the first objective was to get a large amount of money and the right person to spend it on. And this madman, he already hit up loan sharks, borrowed from banks, and managed to scrape together 49,000. There's a risk of it killed and ruin his credit forever. But it's all or nothing. The only issue is that he has to be careful with the gift he's about to buy for his teacher. She knows he's broke, so she might refuse to accept it. 1 hour passes. He bought a Prada bag for her and spent almost all the money. The plan? Tell her it's just a cheap knockoff, so she'll accept it. The only problem? He's standing outside her door knocking, and he doesn't even know if she's married. Man, the queen answers, and I'm sure she puts love into her cooking. She looks a little surprised, wondering what this lunatic is doing at her door. And then he tells her that ever since he started school, she's always taken such good care of him. Now that he realizes how precious her support is, he decided to bring her a gift. Liqiao immediately notices that it looks expensive and refuses to accept it. She tells him that as a teacher, it's her job to support students. He doesn't need to do this. But this smooth liar quickly reassures her, saying there's nothing to worry about. It's just a fake bag, and it only costs 200. All he wants is for her to accept it as a token of appreciation. She hesitates, feeling a little guilty. It would be too rude to refuse something so simple. So she says she'll accept it, though when his birthday comes, she'll return the favor. Then suddenly, smoke starts coming from the kitchen, and she runs off. This madman, he doesn't waste a second. He just walks in. Now that she technically invited and right, but he was already there. For him, as long as she doesn't have a boyfriend and he doesn't get killed, everything's fine. Besides, it was time to start getting that sweet system cash. And just like that, the spending is marked as successful, and his money jumps to 120,000. After paying off the loan sharks, so he doesn't wake up in Rio tomorrow, he'd still have 80,000 left. It's not like he, a former millionaire, isn't used to having this kind of money. But coming from rock bottom, the feeling is different. Then, Lai Xiao calls him out. Why is he just standing there staring his phone? She tells him to sit down already. Shen Yuan, though, he wants to know. Where's her boyfriend? Man, she's over there cooking and casually says she doesn't have a boyfriend. Wait, what? This guy instantly moves in to help her take off her apron. Damn, this dude is attacking. Unfortunately, the apron is all tangled up and taking a lot of effort to remove it. And then, out of nowhere, another queen bursts into the house, asking what the hell this bastard thinks is doing. This one, she's the counselor's sister. Her name's Lai Meng. And the scene she walks in on, peculiar, to say the least. While Lai Xiao tells her to come eat, our boy quickly says, I'm not doing anything. And just like that, she rushes in, hugs her sister, and introduces herself. Folks, another queen has arrived. Our boy, feeling a little awkward, gives a small wave. But Meng, she simply says she doesn't feel comfortable with him in the house. To avoid any drama, Shen Yuan decides to head out. Suddenly, he's not hungry anymore. Lai Xiao finds it weird. He was just about to sit down, but her sister tells her not to get close to him. This guy is weird. The counselor insists he's just a student. There's no way he'd try anything like that. But her sister, she's certain that this bastard was up to something suspicious. Out on the streets, Shen Yuan's biggest concern is figuring out who spend money on next. It's hard to invest too much in like Xiao when they don't have a real relationship. Suddenly, someone bumps into him. When he looks to the side, the guy's hand is shaking, and Shen Yuan asks Huang Hebao what happened. Hebao says that his goddess, Fang Minhui, went to the movies with some guy named Zhongping. The protagonist is a little confused. He knows for a fact that this guy has never been involved with Minhui. After all, she's the goddess of a certain class and would never get with him. His friend tells him to understand the pain of losing a goddess like that. Then, our boy takes a look to the side. Man, the artist of this story is a genius. Because suddenly, two baddies show up. The blonde and the dark-haired one. That's Minute Hui, the so-called goddess. Turns out, Hebei was right, and now he's all happy since she's already back. Looks like she didn't move at a hotel with Shamping. Shen Yuan, however, realizes his friend is destroying his own dignity, so he's never going to have a chance. Then something surprising happens. Above Minute Hui's head, there's a 72, and she's standing there with her toned abs while her friend asks if she knows that Shen Yuan just got dumped. As soon as she hears that, she remembers. Man, this Minhui girl, she used to simp for our boy. She would buy him water, juice, and all sorts of things just to try and get closer to him. For God's sake, man, the artist is a legend. The king of ankles, this cameraman, and Minhui's friend, she hates Shen Yuan, saying he was already bad when he was rich and arrogant. Now that he's poor and arrogant, he's even worse. Man, our boy watches from afar as the little hearts above Minute Hui's head start dropping. He needs someone to spend money on, so he has to save those hearts. Right away, he turns to his friend and asks if he'd be sad if he and Minute Hui started dating. But his friend just laughs and tells him to stop dreaming. He's not the rich guy he used to be driving the 4 Series BMW. Still, as long as Minute Hui isn't with Chanping, Haiba's already happy. The moment Shen Yuan hears that, he dashes toward Minute Hui. He walks up and calls her comrade Minute Hui. Man, and she's tall. And just like that, her friend immediately steps in for protection. What is this, American football? She demands to know what Shen Yuan is doing here. But our boy, he's straight to the point. He asked Minute Hui if she's free tomorrow to grab some sushi with him. She blushes, totally confused as to why this guy is suddenly asking her out. And her friend. She already knows. He's inviting her to sing sushi. Man, that name is almost a tongue twister, a place where the bill never goes under 1,000. Shen Yuan is a sneaky guy. He quickly says that he actually wants her help picking out a gift for his little sister. He trusts her good taste since she's always given him nice presents. Ah, the bastard's a genius. With that, he just walks off saying, see you tomorrow. Minute Hui feels a little unsure since she just went to the movies with Shamping. But her friend tells her she can't refuse. She was invited to sing sushi or sushi. Whatever it's called, it is sushi. This friend did a full 360. Now she's saying that Shen Yuan might be a little arrogant, but at least is hot. Zhongpeng might have family money, but is ugly as hell. So she tells Minute Hui to go for it. She has nothing to lose by eating free sushi. And just like that, we fast forward. The couple arrives at the restaurant and all the fancy dishes are being served. And, of course, the artist stops exactly at the moment when Minute Hui is about to sit down for unknown reasons. Meanwhile, Minute Hui has found out that Shen Yuan's family is struggling financially. She tells him he shouldn't be spending money like this on her. Sitting down or about to sit down, who knows? The artist is unstoppable. But on screen, it's our boy's thoughts that appear. He realizes it's been only 2 months since the last time she gave him gifts. Now he's feeling a little awkward. Then Minute Hui asks, why did he suddenly invite her to dinner? And what's this about buying a present for his sister? He replies that he's always wanted to invite her to dinner. He just never found the right time. Man, the hearts start dropping. He realizes that's not the answer she wanted and is confused. Then he quickly says, he remembers how she always used to buy things for him, how she loved chatting with him on WhatsApp at night. The moment she hears that he remembers, the hearts start rising again. Man, this system makes life too easy. What a cheater. Shen Yuan stays calm and 40 minutes pass. He's already paying the bill. Even with a discount, it still costs 2,700. Seeing how much money he's spending, Minute Hui is shocked. When she went out with Shamping, the rich guy, he was stinky as hell. Meanwhile, poor Luo Shen Yuan, he's spending everything. And since her affinity started at 72 and is now at 76, he's getting a bonus reward. He's about to make over 10,000 from this meal, which is insane. Meanwhile, Minute Hui is thinking. The more she looks at this guy, the more she likes him, and she grabs his hand saying, it's time for us to go shopping. And as they arrive at the mall, just like in our legendary $90 billion story, he runs into his ex with the loser, and she looks furious, wondering how the hell this bastard she dumped yesterday is already with someone new. Meanwhile, the old man is even more pissed off. He had to spend a fortune just to get this damn wanting, and yet that broke bastard is already with another girl the very next day. Our boy is inviting ManhwaCapped to help him pick out gifts, and right then, the old man calls out to him, saying it's a coincidence that they are here and suggesting they take a walk together. On the other hand, Wanting is furious, demanding to know what is doing here and who that girl is. Not really caring, Shen Yuan simply says he's there to buy some gifts for his sister. The old man is trying to humiliate him, saying that this shopping mall doesn't have discounts, and Wan walks up to ManhwaCapped, telling her she better wake up and not get fooled by this guy. Shen Yuan steps in and asks what the hell she's talking about. When did he ever fool her? She just turns away and the old man sneers, saying Shen Yuan is embarrassing himself. A bankrupt family, and is still pretending he has money to spend in this place. Our protagonist is starting to get pissed off. At this point, he wants these two to just die together already. And that's when the system speaks up. Someone living a perfect life shouldn't be humiliated like this. He has to spend money to raise affinity with someone who likes him, and at the same time, lower the affinity of those who hate him. For every 5 hatred points he generates, his money will double. Our boy was thinking about being the bigger person and not humiliating them in public. But apparently, the system won't allow it. So he just tells ManhwaCapped, it's time for us to go. Turns out the dude is famous at this mall. Women are already whispering, the former rich boy is back. ManhwaCapped seems hesitant. After all, everyone knows he's broke, so he won't be buying anything. But another saleswoman rushes over and tells him to come in. Meanwhile, ManhwaCapped is hinting for the old man to buy her the handbag. The store clerk who has to serve Shen Yuan, she's pissed off. She always wants to serve wealthy customers and leave the broke ones to the others. ManhwaCapped is already at the cash register, obviously making the cuckold pay for everything. Meanwhile, ManhwaCapped helps our boy pick out a handbag that represents his sister's youthful energy. The saleswoman next to him doesn't care much and just says, that's quite expensive. It's over 50,000. While the cock is standing there seething at wanting, he only planned to spend 20,000 on her today. But just these bags alone were already going over 100,000. However, this girl, she plays the double game. She tells him to show how rich and powerful he is, to humiliate Shen Yuan by spending a ton of money on her. The problem? That's way more money than he actually has. His credit card can't even handle it. At that moment, Shen Yuan speaks up, telling the saleswoman he wants both bags that ManhwaCapped picked plus the accessories. The clown couple turns around in shock, and ManhwaCapped is stunned. He's really about to spend that much. The store clerk knows he's the new bankrupt guy and is certain he can't afford it. She starts calculating the total, hands shaking, afraid to even say the number. But before she can, Shen Yuan already handed her the card. Just ring it up. The saleswoman is thrilled. This commission is gonna be amazing. Meanwhile, Wanting is standing there fuming, wondering, how the hell is he not bankrupt? And the old man is muttering that he must have borrowed money. But Ajika Ched just smirks and tells him, don't focus too much on my purchases. He should be worrying about making Wana happy. Maybe even buy her another handbag. A wealthy and powerful man like him should be generous. He should spend at least 700,000 in this store. Otherwise, it'd be kind of weird. The bastard flipped the script. Now the two of them are shaking. Wanting turns to the old man, telling him, show me your financial power. The problem? The old man took out a huge loan just to rent that luxury car. He's not rich like that. So he's already making a phone call, trying to see if he can even afford this. Obviously, he just walks off pretending he has a very important meeting, while Wanting just glares at him, calling him the worst, and storms off. Both of them leave furious. Shen Yuan, however, he doesn't give a damn about them. He just played around because the system told him to, and because money is always good. Then he hands one of the handbags to ManhwaCapped. She refuses, saying, it's way too expensive. But he tells her it's a reward for putting up with all the nonsense Wanting and the clown were saying to her when she wasn't even involved in any of it. Then he hands her another bag, saying she deserves even more than this. She's a little confused, She thought it was for his sister, but smooth as ever, he says. Now that I think about it, I'm not sure if my sister will like it. But you picked it, so I know you like it. The truth. Now that he unlocked a revenge system, he just wants to spend as much as possible and get all the money back. ManhwaCapped, however, is afraid to accept it. She doesn't want to look like a gold digger. She starts pushing it back, saying, I really can't. But he grabs her hands and tells her, don't worry. This is only the beginning. There are more gifts coming. And if you don't accept this one, I'm going to be very sad. And just like that, the mission is complete and gets 3 times what he spent. Meanwhile, Minute Hui is staring at him, thinking she just found the perfect money tree. To keep her from getting too scared, he tells her it's time to head back to school. If you buy anything more today, it'd be too much. Meanwhile, she's standing there silent, staring at him. As he climbs the stairs to his dorm, he walks past his old fake friends who are talking about throwing a party. The moment they see Shen Yuan, they say, "We're gonna turn the volume up real loud, so if he can hear just how much fun we are having." Poor guy is just standing there alone in front of his door. As soon as he enters the room, his friend tells him that bastard, Zhong Peng, apparently went out with the flower of the school and is bragging about it to everyone. Shen Yuan just tells his friend to calm down because that guy's days of glory are numbered. Minute Hui was going to end up with him, not with that loser. His friend tells him to wake up. Minute Hui and that guy went to the movies together. Our protagonist doesn't even bother explaining anything to this guy, instead thinking it's time to go home and help out there. At his house, there's already the famous money-making uncle. Of course, that's Yode welcoming him back. Shen Yuan just gives him a drag reading, while his father tells him to rest a bit because the adults are discussing things. Obviously, he stays right behind the door listening to everything, and Yode says he needs the full payment. Otherwise, he can't survive either. Wait a second. That's the protagonist's mother. Man, the artist is unstoppable. He spares no one. And she tells Yode when he needed money to open his car wash business, they helped him. So it's wrong for him to be here acting like this. Her husband tries to calm her down, but she won't back down. She says, "This guy went through hard times and we helped him." Yode responds that he's already being very patient because they are family. If it were anyone else, he would have kicked them out already. His mother starts losing her mind, going off on him, until a certain someone grabs her arm, telling her to calm down. Things would only get worse. Besides, they'd find a way to get the money. That's when the system kicks in. A perfect life cannot be disturbed by debt. All the money spent paying off his father's debts would be doubled, and he even get a bonus of 1 million just to spend on a car. For Shen Yuan, this was perfect. He was already planning to use his earnings to pay for this anyway. Meanwhile, his mother is holding on to some jewelry, family heirlooms passed down through generations, since it's the only way to pay the debt. What she doesn't know though, Shen Yuan had already sold some of those jewels a while ago, just to buy presents for his girlfriends. At that moment, he opens his door and tells them, "There's no need to worry. I have the money." Neither of them believes him. They just tell him to stop joking around. This situation was too serious for him to be messing around. But our boy tells them he's not joking. He tells his father to check his phone notifications. The moment they look, there it was. 200,000 just dropped into his account. They demand to know where he got it from, and the smooth bastard is always. He says, "A long time ago, I bought some cryptocurrency. I forgot about it, but recently, when I needed money, I checked and saw it had gone up in value." His mother praises him saying, "That's perfect. You saved the family." And right away, I turn to the uncle, telling him, with this, the debt is paid. They had money now, so he better disappear. The uncle wants to say something, but his mother just tells him, "Get out." Kicked out of the house, the guy is lost. He came to collect whatever was left of his family, because he knew they were bankrupt and thought he'd never get paid. The real question now is, how did that bastard get so much money? Meanwhile, our boy just finished his mission. The 200,000 turned into 400,000, and he received the 1 million that could only be spent on a car. The problem? Of course, the only thing he paid off was the rent. There were still all the old company debts, which totaled hundreds of millions. For now, this was the best way to help. He needed to keep multiplying his money to pay off the bigger debts. He asked if his parents need more money. His mother says, "For now, no." The other bills weren't urgent. They could manage for a while. But his father, he's not so chill. He asked for at least 50,000 as a loan. Our boy just smiles, thinking, he's just like me when I used to ask for money. He remembers. His father used to be chilling in the mansion, reading a newspaper, while he would come home from school exhausted asking for spare change. And now, tables have turned. The scene shifts back to the college where he runs into his teacher. This one, everybody pays extra attention in her class. He walks up and asks, "Are you free tonight?" He wants to invite her to a little dinner. But then, he feels the death stare from behind. That's right. Meng is right there. She's not letting this slide. He realizes, this woman is his nemesis. And the way she's glaring at him, hands on her hips, he decides to drop it. He just waves goodbye. "Oh, wait. I just remembered I have to study. I'll be leaving now." Meng turns to Xiao and says, "See, this guy has bad intentions, even though you're his teacher." Meanwhile, Shen Yuan is thinking, "Man, I'm sweating like crazy. Running around all day submissive like this. Terrible." Back in the day, he was riding around in his Ferrari, hands on the wheel, handling important business. That's when he remembers. He received 1 million only for buying a car, and right away, he calls Minute Hui to join him on this adventure. Her friend immediately says, if you're going back to the dorm for a one-on-one adventure, let me know so I can leave. This friend really makes life easy for our boy. She's legendary. Minute Hui, however, tells her, don't say such nonsense. We are not together. But the friend insists she's so lucky to have found a guy like this. She already knows what's gonna happen between them. And just so you know, these censorships, they're not for me. Okay. That's just how the story came. The artist is extremely talented, but he has limits on his creative expression on this platform. And now, at the car dealership, our boy arrives with Minute Hui, and the salesman immediately greets him. It looks like this simp knows Minute Hui and wants to know what she's doing there. She greets him, hey, Mr. Kim. This guy went to the same school as her and was always hitting on her, obviously. Not that I blame him. He walks up and wants to know, who's the loser standing next to her? Shen Yuan. Nice to meet you. Now the guy wants to know which car he's interested in. Shen Yuan says he wants to see the M9. Man, if I'm not mistaken, that's a BMW. The salesman knows the car costs 600,000 and is already dreading showing it to this broke kid because is sure he won't buy it. At the same time, it might be worth it since he'd get to stare at Minute Hui the whole time. Maybe she finally realized he's an amazing salesman who makes over 10,000 a month. So he gets closer to chat with her saying, it's been a while since we talked. But Minute Hui, tall as ever, cuts him off. She tells him that, unfortunately, she has other plans and isn't very interested in talking. Before this clown can react, though, Shen Yuan calls out to him. He asks, can I take it for a test drive? The guy is fuming. That bastard just interrupted his flirting session. To be honest though, you were already rejected, man. Your flirting wasn't lasting long anyway. Shen Yuan may have been broke for a short while, but has been rich for his entire life, and is sick of this loser not treating him properly. So he goes straight to the reception desk and asks for someone who actually knows how to sell cars. Man, if she didn't show up to sell a car, I'd say she was prepared for other jobs, but let's move on. Her name, Chen Na, a top-tier salesperson at the dealership. She walks out asking, how can I help you? And our boy, he's standing there stunned. Fifi, the man got flash-panned by her beauty. Meanwhile, the original salesman is panicking. His coworker walks up and asks, why'd you leave that kid? You're gonna lose the sale. But the guy just shrugs. There's no way that broke kid is buying an M9. He's just showing off for the girl. Meanwhile, inside the car, Ken Ned is explaining everything to Shen Yuan. But our guy, he's not listening to a word, because even compared to Minamut, this girl is dangerous. The problem? He knows that some female salespeople at car dealerships sometimes sleep with customers just to hit their sales targets. So he's not interested. Chen asks, so do you like the details of the car? But he just says, I don't really care. I just want to know you have one available right now because I want to drive in home. She's confused. Most guys want to test drive, like, 36 different cars and spend hours before making a decision. She apologizes saying, right now, we don't have one here. Pony can call another dealership and bring one in this week. Shen Yuan says, that's fine, but make it as fast as possible. She tells him, to speed up the process, you need to leave a 50,000 deposit. He tells her, don't worry about it. And just like that, she's already walking down the hall. While the clown salesman wants to know how the sale went, she simply says, it was easy. He bought it. Another salesman overhears and freaks out. Impossible. You only talked to him for 2 minutes. Meanwhile, Minute Hui's simp is convinced. That guy's a fraud. As soon as it's time to actually pay, he'll disappear. But Chen Nan doesn't think so. She tells them, I don't think that's the case. He said he's going to pay everything up front. And at that moment, the clown salesman realizes he really messed up. Meanwhile, Chen Ne is already thanking our boy. She tells him, if you ever need a ride or a favor, just send me a message. But Minute Hui, she's competitive. She quickly says, no. He doesn't need your number. Besides, we are taking a taxi back. Chedney realizes she just made the girlfriend mad and gets awkward. Out on the streets, Shen Yuan asks Minute Hui if she wants to grab something to eat, but he notices. She's a little annoyed and is sure. She's jealous. He tells her to let it go. That was just a customer-saleswoman relationship. But Minute Hui says, I'm not so sure about that. Eulif's really happy talking about the car details. Shen Yuan apologizes, saying it's just a habit of his to pay close attention to what people say, which is a total lie by the way, since he didn't listen to a single word. And that's when Minute Hui realizes she's acting like a crazy person. She doesn't even have anything official with him, so there's no reason to be jealous. But she knows. His big spender style attracts attention, so she needs to lock him down. I don't know what carrot technique she's going to use to immobilize him, but she's determined. Meanwhile, our boy tells her, let's grab some food, then we'll go to the mall to buy some presents. But she says, no need. You already spent a ton on me yesterday. I don't need that much stuff. But our boy, he plays the psychological card. He tells her, you can't go out 7 days in a row with the same bags. You need at least one for each day of the week. Besides, spending money on her was great, because it raised affinity and doubled his money. At the restaurant, he asks her, do you want something hot or cold to drink? She freezes. She wants to know, is this bastard asking if she's on her period? Apparently, in some Chinese game, if you ask this question and she chooses hot, it means she's on her period. If she chooses cold, it means the coast is clear. She says, I'll have a cold drink. Seems like that's exactly what he wanted to know, because he says, well, I'll have to be more direct. I've been holding back for 2 months and it's time to let it out. A while later, walking through the city, he's already spent a fortune. Bags, pendants, necklaces, everything. And Minute Hui is just standing there thinking, he's too nice. He's already spent 80,000 on me in just a few days. What, our boy? He's already got 2 million in his account. Since he spent all that money on the car and she liked it, he got 1,600,000.0 back. And is straight to the point. He tells her, maybe tonight isn't a good night to go back to the dorm. And if he's ready to play, she's ready to score. She gives him a little smirk. 30 minutes later, in room 888, our boy is in the shower. Meanwhile, she has no idea how she's gonna explain to her friend why she's not coming back. Shen Yuan is American bro. He walks in and says it's time for football and is going for the touchdown. Man, 30 have passed. This guy is a demigod. He lasted that long. And Shen Yuan says, that was a great match. Unfortunately, you were also a top-tier player. Now I'm a little exhausted, but she's got energy for days. She tells him it's time to start the second half. Our boy begs, can I get 30 minutes? Too late. Next morning. Look at that bastard smile. After all the spending is done, he's now about 2,500,000.0 in his account. His friend wants to know, where the hell were you? Why didn't you come back to the dorm? And at the same time, he shows him that bastard Zhongpeng just bought a new car and is showing off to everyone. Shen Yuan just shrugs. That guy is adorable and tries to flex on people. But I couldn't care less about his car. Someone calls him over for some drinks and the system speaks up. A perfect life isn't just about admiration from the opposite sex. He also needs to be successful in business. He gets 1 million to invest. What? He has to spend all of it in 1 week. And any profits he makes from his business ventures, they'll be doubled. To be honest, that's dope. A system that was just this would already be amazing. But okay. Let's move on. Our boy likes this mission because he actually wanted to create a legitimate source of income so he wouldn't have to keep spending money on gifts. He's not a fan of simping. It's just that, unfortunately, he had no other option. The guy who invited him for drinks is named Lai Yuhan. Looks like an old friend. Meanwhile, in the Dragon's private bar, a dude in a Hawaiian shirt, Lin Guangzhou, is complaining. Who are we waiting for? I'm starving. The guy in a suit, Heiji, tells him. The important people are on their way. The guy with the backward cap agrees. That's when Yuan, the guy who invited Shen Yuan, tells them to calm down. Just wait a little longer. Shen Yuan is on his way. But Guangzhou scoffs. That guy shouldn't even come. His family went bankrupt. So why is he even showing up? Yu Meng tells him, mind your own business. I'm covering everything tonight. So just keep your mouth shut. Take that L clown. You think you've been talked just because you've got a girl with factory airbags. Man, thank God her speech bubble isn't as big as her chest. Because she's already complaining, saying this Guangzhou guy keeps grabbing her, but he won't even date her for real. Meanwhile, they ask, what about Heiji's girlfriend? He says, she'll be here in 10 minutes. But Guangzhou, he hates that bastard Heiji because apparently his girlfriend is top tier. And bro, just by looking at those tights, we already know who she is. Shen Yuan finally arrives and he makes sure to wear ragged clothes. Looking homeless, he apologizes for being late and Yu Hang just lost. No worries. There are some bad drivers out there. Look, Guangyo. He throws a little jab. If you met a personal driver, that wouldn't happen. And that's when she appears. That's right. The car dealership girl, our beloved Chen Na. She apologizes for being late. Haji smirks. These clowns don't know how to compete. He may not have money anymore, but he has the best girlfriend. Too bad for him though, because his girlfriend is already checking out her boy Shen Yuan. She remembers his face very well. After all, he bought that car, but she ignores him and goes straight to her boyfriend. At least she's loyal. A while later, Yuan explains, he invited everyone here for an investment opportunity. It's going to be huge. He needs to raise 2,400,000.0, so he's expecting around 700,000 from each person. Awkwardly, he asks, so what do you guys think? You bastard. You're asking for 700,000. Can you at least explain why, you damn scammer? Apparently, his friends already know him because he always makes bad investments. But since he usually uses his dad's money, nobody really cares. This time though, nobody wants to invest with this lunatic. The room is dead silent and Yuhang is pissed. When he covers most of investment, everyone wants to join in. But now that it's an equal share, they are all backing out. And he asks, why is it so quiet? Nobody has anything to say. Guanya speaks up. I'm not investing right now. I'm focusing on saving money. I want to play it safe. Everyone else says the same thing. They can't afford to lose money. Taking a risk is too dangerous. The basketball jersey guys in the corner. They are pissed that he's offering such a bad deal. Meanwhile, Yehai knows. This time, his money-making plan is solid. Too bad nobody trusts him. Guanzhou then says, but if you want to borrow money, that's a different story. Of course, scumbag. Because if the investment works out, you still win. If things go south, you just get your money back. Damn, even I want to do this. Just kidding. I don't have money for that. Xin Yuan is standing there wondering why Yuhang still deals with these guys. They are just a bunch of parasites. So he asks, what do I get if I invest at 700,000? The room goes silent. Guanyo turns to him. Stop making things up. Everyone knows your family is broke. The guy in the cab even puts his hand on his shoulder. Dude, just go to the bathroom and wash your face. You must be drunk without even drinking. Haiji tries to explain. In business, things are complicated. You're young, so you don't understand. But that 700,000, it could disappear. While everyone is doubting our boy, in the back of the room, Chen Eni is watching. She remembers that yesterday, he spent 600,000 on a car without hesitation. So maybe 700,000 isn't crazy for him. But she decides to stay quiet. She barely knows him and doesn't want to get involved. But our boy, he doesn't wait for an answer. He just says, I already transferred 700,000. Yuva immediately checks his phone and his screen lights up like a stadium floodlight. There it is. The transaction notification. He shows it to Guanyo. Take a look. The soul nearly leaves his body. He starts trembling. Meanwhile, the towering Chen No wants to know. Why is everyone's face changing? Even the viewers are noticing. Now the whole room gets up, demanding Guanzhou explain what just happened. Even Heiji is curious now. But Guanzhou refuses to add to Shen Yuan's hype. He just tells them, figure it out yourselves. But deep inside, he wants to know why the hell that bastard pulled out that kind of money. That's when Zhao Zeng, the cap guy, walks over. He sees everyone acting weird and asks, what's going on? Next frame, he's already leaving saying, oh, I just remembered I have something to do at home. One by one, everyone starts leaving. See you next time. Heiji is confused. Why is everyone leaving? But Chen then just says, we're leaving too, and she's already outside. Her boyfriend tells her, there was no reason for you to leave. He doesn't even know if the guy really transferred the money. And that's when she reveals, yesterday, he came to the dealership and bought a car in cash. Suddenly, the boyfriend is angry, not at Shen Yuan, but at his girlfriend for not telling him the guy was rich. Looks like the game is changing, and she's pissed. You're mad at me because I didn't tell you who's rich. Well, goodbye. If all you care about is some rich guy, then I'm out. Now it's just the two of them. Yu Vang sighs. If I knew you were gonna invest everything, I wouldn't have called those guys. But Shen Yuan says it was a good way to prove they're not trustworthy. Now he wants to know, what's the plan for this business? Even though he's just an investor, he wants to discuss the strategy. Yeah. It's obvious now. They are opening a bar. They start talking about the theme, the operations, the decor, everything. An hour passes and Chen Eni sends him a message. Come pick up your car tomorrow. But our boy says, no rush. Then he asks, are you free tomorrow? Because I'm really curious about that BMW M9. She's confused. What's with this sudden interest in the M9? Before she can reply, he sends another message. See you at the restaurant tomorrow, next day. She's at the meeting spot, wearing her work uniform, which honestly, looks more like a costume. Shen Yuan hasn't arrived yet, and she's been waiting for a while with some random guy next to her. That's when a chubby bald dude walks by. He recognizes her immediately and heads straight for her. He's never had a chance to hit on her before, but this is the perfect opportunity. His friends outside are watching, wondering if he'll actually pull it off. But most of them say, no way. China isn't that type of woman. She's serious. Most guys who tried failed, and damn, one of those clowns, it's Haja, the simp boyfriend, who wants to know who the hell she's waiting for. Meanwhile, a chubby guy walks up to Chen Na and asks, mind if I join you? She instantly refuses. No, thanks. I'm waiting for a friend. The guy thinks she's just playing hard to get. He says, I'm your superior, so you should show more respect. We are eating together today. But she tells him, step back. It'd be better if we didn't have any relationship at all. And, Fen, this bastard goes straight to the point. Don't worry. If the problem is my family, I'll get a divorce. Damn. This woman must be something else. Meanwhile, Haiji is watching from a distance. He wasn't with his friends. He just overheard the conversation. And now that he sees the chubby guy talking to her, he storms over their table and flips out. You traitors, you've been deceiving me behind my back. Before the chubby boss can say anything, Haiji throws a punch right to his face. The boss stands up, furious, and a full-on brawl breaks out. Meanwhile, Shen Yuan finally arrives, looking completely confused. As soon as her boy arrived, he immediately understood what was going on, and he just thanks the chubby guy for sitting next to her and taking Hiji's punch for him. With that, he grabs Chen in his little hands and says, "It's better if we go somewhere a little more private." Inside the car, she tells him. She was with Haiji for 2 weeks, but she already realized. He's not a good person. Shen Yuan tells her, well, at least everything's settled now. But she shakes her head. No. That's not the case. Haiji punched her boss in the face. So now she's definitely going to be treated worse at work. He tells her, just quit that horrible job and find a better place. But she explains, in my profession, it's not easy to just switch dealerships. Not to mention, I've built a client base over the years and I'd lose all of them. The truth is, she's tired of working as a saleswoman. She wants to own a simple store where she can work when she feels good and close when she's tired. The problem? Even opening a small cafe costs 400,000 and she knows she'll never save up that much. Our boy, who needs to invest money, sees the perfect opportunity. So he asks, if an investor showed up, would you be willing to open one? Because from the 1 million he has for investments, he still has 300,000 left. If you put in 100,000, that'd be enough to make it happen. She pauses. If that were possible, I'd quit my job immediately. Our boy smiles. Then you can resign tomorrow and work for me. Boom. A little heart symbol pops up. 64 affinity. She's red as a tomato. While he's thinking, another money tree just appeared out of nowhere. Flustered, she tells him, stop joking. But he tells her, I'm serious. So do you want to work for me or not? If you manage the cafe, you'll get 12,000 a month plus some bonuses. And as an incentive, if a cafe does well in the first 2 months, I'll give you a 200,000 car. Damn. This guy is spending all of his bonuses. At least he's smart about it. She has no idea why someone would invest so much money out of nowhere unless he's trying to keep her all to himself. However, she's a respectable woman and thinks she can't put herself in a situation where she'd be dependent on him, even more so considering she'd be the third in the relationship. So she says thanks, but no thanks. Shen Yuan understands why she's refusing and tells her not to worry. He was already planning on spending some money on an investment, and besides, their relationship would just be boss and employee. She says she understands but needs some time to think. Then he gets a message from Minute Hui saying she's in the mood for some iced tea. Now we already know what that means and is impressed that this girl has infinite energy. So he says, yes, they can have some tea, but please take it easy. As soon as he returns to little room 808, she gives him a happy hug. But right then, she smells another woman's scent. He says that's impossible, but he knows that since he spent that time in the car with that woman, her perfume lingered on him. Oh man, the fun's over. She pushed him away. But he lies, saying he didn't feel a thing, and just hugs her back, saying his eyes are only for her. He explains he was just there dealing with the car paperwork and ended up near those girls who were selling, and the perfume stuck to him. But nothing happened. Minhwa says she understands, but if he's going to see any other woman in any situation, he'd better tell her. He says he got it, but honestly, the guy doesn't care about that. His goal is to grow multiple money trees, especially since he needs to spend a lot. And with that, the soccer match was about to start. Ball in the field, and it's a goal, man. It's over. 2 hours later. 2 hours. This guy has transcended man, Doctor Strange style, and is manipulating time and space to last that long. His little heart is already at 90, bro. And just like our boy Shen Yuan from the other story, this Shen Yuan also gets something when his affection reaches 90. A lottery ticket worth 1 million, a voucher to spend 1 million, and a new skill called Ruthless. A spending ticket worth 1 million, and a new skill called Ruthless. The money was more than welcome since he still had millions of family debts to pay. But what really caught his interest was this Ruthless skill. The description said, with this skill, he'd be able to master anything. So if he walks out into the hallway to activate it, a peculiar glow appears. He thought it would make him ruthless in combat, but actually, it made him ruthless in other activities, and now he's heading back to the field. Ruthless mode activated. Poor Minute Hui was the first victim of the new skill. Meanwhile, Chen Net is talking to a friend about a guy who offered her 300,000 to open a store. Her friend warns her, be careful. It's rare for a guy to invest that much money. You might be getting scammed. But Chen not confidently replies, no. I'm sure he has money. I saw him spend almost 1,500,000.0 in 2 days. Besides, at least he's cute. Unlike the old man at the car dealership, her friend finds it hard to believe. You found a guy who's young and handsome, and he wants to invest 300,000 in you. If that's the case, you should definitely accept. But Chen Annie says, there's one problem. He's 5 years younger than me. It just feels weird. Apparently, there's a Chinese saying, if a woman marries a man 3 years younger, she's holding onto a gold bar. So if he's 5 or 6 years younger, she's holding 2 gold bars. Who comes up with these sayings? She tries to refuse. The boy already has a girlfriend. But her friend, like all female friends in these stories, either the worst or the best, she just lost. A girlfriend isn't a wife. With those conditions, you have to steal him away. Poor Chen Annie is shocked. Her friend tells her, relax, I'm just joking. But seriously, don't miss this opportunity. With that, she says goodbye. Meanwhile, Chen Annie is now imagining Shen Yuan by her window. 40 minutes later, Minute Hui is shaken. She tells him, there's something different about you, but she's too embarrassed to explain. So he calls for another match. But she tells him, impossible. Enough undone. But since she didn't show mercy earlier, now it's his turn. He tells her, if you can't keep up, you just need more practice. Next day, after Minhubi goes back to school, Shen Yuan wakes up and checks his lottery ticket. The numbers match. He won 6,800,000.0. He immediately jumps up, desperate to run home and tell his parents, by the way, we still haven't seen his sister. Doesn't he have a sister? She'll show up eventually. I know he's a menace. A few moments later, he rushes home, calling for his mother. She yells, stop shouting like a lunatic. You're waking up the neighbors. But he already pulled his dad over too. I have good news for both of you. He shows them the ticket. I just won 6 million. His mother, of course, responds. Is school messing with your head? Are you going crazy? But he tells them, just look at the numbers and check the phone. His father checks the winning numbers and nearly has a heart attack. His mother has a full-on collapse. He tells them, even after paying the 20% tax, I'll still have 5 million. With that, they can start paying off the debts. Life is finally going to get better. He'll just take a small portion for investments because he still needs to make money. His father tells him, that's fine. All I want is for you to not lose it all. Shen Yuan tells them, I'll take 1 million for myself and leave 4 million for you. I thought they'd be super happy or shocked, but they just calmly thank him. Meanwhile, at the car dealership, the chubby boss who got beaten up asked Chen Na, what the hell is this on my face? But Chen Na, standing there in her work uniform, doesn't care. She already broke up with that guy. Besides, if he punched him, that's a problem between the two of them. Her boss, however, won't let her off the hook so easily. He says, every problem has its roots and in this case, the root is you, he realized. His damn woman is trying to walk away without facing any consequences, so he has to get revenge. She insists, the fight between you two has nothing to do with me. Besides, you wouldn't have gotten punched if you hadn't sat next to me. Her boss then says, all right then, for not showing up to work yesterday, you don't have to show up for a whole month. Confused, Chen Na tells him, but I asked for permission to be absent. But he just shrugs. I don't care. I own this dealership. I decide who works here and who doesn't. You're banned from selling anything for a month. He knows. If she loses her job, she loses all of her commission. And with only 1,200, she won't even be able to pay rent. At that moment, Chen Na turns around and says, if that's the case, I'll quit. I'm never coming back to this place. The clown boss tells her, you should think carefully. If you leave, you can't come back. But she's already walking away. Swag mode activated. At least working for Shen Yuan would be better. At least he's not an old man. She waves goodbye. No need to think about it. I'm never stepping foot in this place again. 30 minutes later, Shen Yuan receives a message. She's ready to quit. He congratulates her. Took you long enough to escape hell. Now I just need to find a good location for the store. Now he's off to visit his teacher, a very hard-working woman. She's struggling to lift a heavy box from the floor. Dan, that looks painful. Looks like she called him specifically for Fizz to help her lift the box. Now she's trying to reach another one, but it's too high up. She can't reach. Don't worry, teacher. The hero has arrived. Obviously, this kind of behavior could get him thrown in jail, and she realizes this student is peculiar. As always, he gets real close. Does he actually have those kinds of feelings? She even asks him, did you get the papers? He nods, yeah, I got them. But then, some other students show up. They say, we are here to help the teacher. But when they walk into the room, they don't understand why her face is red as a tomato. She steps to the side, while Shen Yuan explains the help she needed. Meanwhile, Xiao realizes his damn Shen Yuan is getting bolder and bolder. He's pulling these moves even at school. The problem is, her heart just skipped a beat, but is a student. She can't be thinking like this. Too bad for her. He's got the affinity system and he noticed increased. Looks like that little favor was deeply appreciated. The scene shifts to the south side near the school. These are the villains and the girl on the left, she has that good and bad kind of evil look. They are talking to Zhongping, that guy who bought a car and now acts like he's better than everyone else. Oh yeah. The clown who walks around in his little Gucci outfit. He's mad because Minute Hui rejected everything he tried. She's completely ignoring him, but it's fine. He's got plenty of options, he says. Not every girl appreciates my new car, and the girls gasped. That car is so expensive. Your family must be billionaires. But Zhongpeng nearly spits out his tea because he sees someone familiar, and as always, it's Chen Na, walking around, dressed more like a fantasy character than a real person. The guy comments, her legs are so long, but usable all year round. Meanwhile, outside, they are looking at a brand new car, the M9. And honestly, it might not even be a BMW. It's probably some kind of advanced Chinese luxury car or a high-tech Tesla-style vehicle. And the big boss is walking through the area. The girls recognize him instantly, the famous Shen Yuan, the newly broke guy. But why was he in that car? That's exactly what the clown Zhongpeng wants to know. At that moment, our boy walks into the cafe, and Chen Na immediately greets him. Hey there, boss. Zhongpeng is standing there, mouth wide open. He wants to know why is that goddess talking to that broke loser. Meanwhile, Chen Na tells him, the owner of the cafe just messaged Mai. She's on her way. She asks, so, do you like the car? Shen Yuan shrugs. It's not bad. The dangerous villain girl smirks. There's something peculiar about Shen Yuan's interaction with that girl, and Zhongpeng is losing it. How the hell does he go from dating one in one day to being with someone even hotter the next? At that moment, the cafe owner arrives. To be honest, she's the skinniest of the women so far. Not that skinny, but you go, what I mean. Her name, Lai Yuchen. She greets our boy. You're so young. He replies, we are all around the same age. They are all about 20 or so. She explains, her cafe isn't doing well. But since it's near the school, a lot of students pass by. However, she has some issues at home and needs to take care of her child. That's why she wants to sell the place for 300,000. But our boy, he wants to keep 50,000 to cover Chen Na's salary. So he tells her, I don't like haggling. I'll give you 250,000 and that's it. Yuchen was hoping to get at least 270,000. But since he's paying up front and looks serious, she simply asks, can we finalize this today? He nods. The moment we sign the papers, the money will be in your account. Immediately, she calls the girls nearby and tells them to meet the new owner. Shen Yuan explains. Chen Na here is the new manager. I won't be around much. The girls nearby overhear the conversation, and the Hollywood tier villainous gasps. That bastard just bought a 250,000 cafe for his girlfriend in 10 seconds. Meanwhile, Zhongbang's about to explode with rage. Just then, Yuchen gets a call. She stands up. I need to take this. And at that moment, Chen Na sees the name on the phone. Her face freezes because it's him, the man who fired her from the dealership. That scumbag owns half the world. Shen Yuan is pissed. That bastard has a hot wife at home and still flirts with all the girls at work. Truly a despicable man. Shen Yuan wants to tell Yuchen what kind of man her husband is, but she doesn't want to ruin their relationship. He warns her, it's better if you don't get too involved. She asks, why? He explains, you're about to let a 40-year-old man with too much money lose him without a family. That's dangerous. You never know what he'll do. She pauses and thanks him for the advice. She hadn't thought about it like that, and he was right. That guy might actually become a problem. Meanwhile, Shen Yuan transfers the 50,000 salary and tells her, I'm looking forward to seeing how the first week goes. With Fat, our boy had officially spent his first million and became a junior investor. Man, I wanna be a junior investor too. What is this, bro? But the system is unstoppable. Now he gets 10 million to invest and expand industries. Once he spends it all, the profits from these new businesses will be tripled. And on top of that, once he spends the 10 million, he'll receive a mystery industry. A little while later, Yuchen comes back to thank him. She tells him, I'm heading out. It was nice doing business with you. Our boy shakes her hand and his mind goes, damn, her hands are so soft. It's like she doesn't even have bones. Now he's already imagining how a football match would go with her. He tells her, it was nice working with you. I'm looking forward to seeing you again. 30 minutes later, he's taken Chen Na to a restaurant. Of course, just to eat. Right? She tells him, this place is really expensive. Do you come here often? Our boy shakes his head. Nah. But today's a day to celebrate. He finds himself staring at her, thinking, she's irresistible. This guy is unstoppable. He goes for the attack. Why are you sitting so far away? You could sit a little closer. Our boy is a magician because she was on the other side of the table and now she's right next to him, 3-meter arms like Majin Buu. And our boy is thinking, I just spent 300,000 to open this cafe for her and I'm paying her 12,000 a month. I need to get some extra profit out of this. Meanwhile, Chen Eni is thinking, there's no such thing as love or generosity without reason in this world. So why does he really want to open this cafe? Does he actually want to make money from it? That wouldn't make sense, considering everything he buys. Meanwhile, Chen Yuan, the hard-working man, has both hands on the watermelons and Chen Eni, she realizes that's all she really has to offer. She tells him to back off. The waitresses could walk in at any moment, but he explains, the food here doesn't come out that fast. It'll take a while. 10 minutes later, a woman at the door says, they are getting everything ready. Chen, flustered, quickly replies, Jay, just bring it over. Our boy smirks. This place serves some amazing food. Well, yeah, he was rich his entire life. He already knows everything about this town. And Chen Ene thinks to herself, he's handsome, and he definitely has money. But the problem is, he's a shameless bastard, especially since he already knows he has another gorgeous woman by his side. So why does he act like this? It was honestly embarrassing. But now, it was too late to think about it. At the checkout, as always, our boy pays calmly. After all, the money will be doubled. Meanwhile, Chedna realizes what he just spent on this dinner is the same amount she'd make from selling a luxury car. As they step outside, she tells him, I want to go back to the cafe. I need to talk to the owner. But he tells her, it's too late for that. She's probably closing up shop. You'll just be bothering her. She sighs. Yeah, I guess you're right. Then just take me home. Oh boy. We already know what's about to happen. They arrive at her apartment complex. She waves goodbye, but our boy says, I'm really thirsty. That walk made me crave a drink of water. She's not naive though. She tells him, that water you're talking about, it's not appropriate. Our boy, confused, asks, what? Is there a guy in your house? She rolls her eyes. Obviously not. I broke up with Hija. He nods. So what's the problem with letting me have some water? She pauses. Are you really just gonna drink some water and leave? He nods. Of course. But in her mind, she already knows. That's not going to happen. Inside the apartment, the football field is set up and the goal is wide open. Meanwhile, Haji is downstairs, holding flowers. Oh, buddy. Don't do this. You already lost. He knocks on the door, but instead of response, he hears a peculiar sound. His expression freezes. He starts banging on the door. Who the hell is in there? Inside, our boy is furious. That bastard dumped her. So why is he here interrupting the game? Kenmi tells him, wait, there's someone at the door. But Shen Yuan smirks, I've got good ears. That's the neighbor's door. And just like Fat, he carries her away. Meanwhile, on the other side, Haji is devastated. He heard everything. He collapses to the floor. She was devoured. I have no chance anymore. After a few more matches, it's now the next morning. She wakes up first and heads to the kitchen to cook. What a kind woman. Our boy wakes up to the smell and loves it. Waking up in a woman's house is so much better than waking up in a hotel. And then, the system speaks, a perfect life requires a home. If a man wants to take care of himself and take care of the women who visit, he must own property. This system is even worse than him. So, he must buy a 100 square meter home for Chennai within the next 24 hours. The good news. Every money he spends will be doubled and he'll receive a Mistrit property as a bonus. For him, it's perfect as always. Now he wants a house with a pool so he can have all of them swimming while he relaxes. Kidney calls him over for breakfast. But our boy is already thinking, what reward will he get when she reaches 90 affinity? So he gives her a hug. She jumps in surprise, then he whispers, as a gift for last night, I'll buy you a house. She freezes. She thought that after everything last night, he wouldn't be buying her anything else. She assumed he already got what he wanted. He kisses her cheek. What's wrong? Why aren't you responding? She sighs. Money doesn't grow on trees, you know. But for our boy, it kind of does. His money literally comes out of nowhere. He pulls her in for a tight hug. There's nothing wrong with buying a house for my woman. He's also a little worried. Last night was way too noisy. The neighbors definitely heard. So, they need to move. Chen Ene then tells him, a friend wanted to meet me at the cafe. She wanted to see the place. And after that, we can go look at houses. But Shen Yuan shakes his head. No way. House shopping takes time. There's paperwork and everything. I want to spend the whole day looking. So, she immediately messages her friend, telling her she'll see her at night instead. Meanwhile, her friend Kangchen is wearing a red cap. She's with another girl, Minglu, a tall, purple-haired fitness trainer. Minglu is confused. Kangchen says, maybe the cafe deal didn't work out. No way a guy just spends 300,000 like that. But Minglu disagrees. Chen Neo wouldn't lie about something like that. Then, Kanchen gets a message. She reads it out loud and screams. He's bewaing her, how wi. In the review mirror, Menglu almost faints. There's a huge difference between a guy who buys bags and a guy who buys houses. She immediately decides, I need to take advantage of this too. She tells Kanchen, ask her where they are looking at houses. We should go check it out. Kanchen nods. All right. I'll ask her. 40 minutes later, they arrive at the TNG real estate district. As soon as they get there, Ken-nae is shocked because even the most basic houses here cost millions. And just like Fat, Kanchen spots them. She walks up. It's been so long since we last met. She reaches out her hand. I missed you. And just like Fat, the girls are ready to be introduced. Kanchen grins. This is my good friend, Kianhua. Then she introduces. Meet Manglu and Ruda. Manglu, meanwhile, looks like a contortionist. She's twisting like she's in Game of Thrones, bending up and down, throwing something over her shoulder, and then she goes straight for the attack. You've got good body, but you should come to my gym and sweat a little. Peculiar. But our boy is even worse than her. He smirks. If I go to your gym, it'll be hard to focus on the workout. She immediately realizes he just flirted with her right in front of Chen-na, which means the two of them are not a couple. Meanwhile, she notices Chen-na's bruised knee. She played too much football last night. Then, Kanchen jumps in. When you're ready to change cars, I know a great place to buy Ferraris. Our boy just smiles. Thanks. He barely met these two, and their heart levels are already 68 and 67. At this moment, he realizes these two aren't exactly good friends to Chen-na. But for him, it doesn't matter. All he wants is a bunch of women with an affinity score above 60. The three girls walk with him through the luxury real estate district, and the poor husbands who see them want to kill this bastard. He's walking around with three goddesses, buying a house like it's nothing. This is truly the perfect life. A real estate agent approaches. She asks, would you like to see some initial models? The price here is 15,000 per square meter. She's about to explain, but our boy cuts her off. I came here to spend 3 million. So tell me, what can I get for that? At that moment, the woman nods and takes him to the VIP section. This area has professional recommendations. Meanwhile, the other girls are stunned. What kind of quadrillionaire just drops 3 million like it's pocket change? And, of course, this just makes Menglu even more determined. A little later, they are sitting on a luxury couch. The agent recommends a 165 square meter home. For 2,900,000. Kenna grabs his arm. Don't buy this. This is way too expensive. But as always, he's got his hands on what really matters. He reassures her, don't worry. All I want is a comfortable home. The other girls are jealous. Here's Chen-na trying to make him spend less, and there he is, loyal to the cause, a true man. But he knows. If he doesn't negotiate, everyone will think he's a fool. After all, this is China. If you don't bargain until the end, it's not even about being rich or poor. It's about not being an idiot. Why aren't you haggling? Are you stupid? So at that moment, he tells the manager, let's talk discounts. He knows. She has the power to negotiate. She asks, are you really ready to make a decision today? If that's the case, I can ask for an amazing deal. But he shakes his head. Instead of a discount, I want extra parking spaces because at this rate, he's going to be investing a lot into this home. Meanwhile, Mingla refuses to give up. She's flipping her hair left and right, throwing smiles all over the place. Our boy is watching, thinking, is this girl mentally unstable? But then, she makes a peculiar movement, and suddenly, he understands. She's playing the game. He's actually impressed. This damn woman knows exactly what she's doing, but now is not the time to be thinking about that. He's here to finalize a contract for a 3 million house. And you've got to keep the like on this, and I'll remember how the last chapter ended. Right? Our dear Shen Yuan was at that fancy place looking to buy a $3 million house. Yeah. Totally insane. Well, that crazy woman was still out there teasing, showing just the strap of her bra, floating from one side to the other. Half an hour later, the lady comes over and says, gentlemen, the discounts have been applied, and the final total is 2.98. Please sign here. Our boy, without a second thought, just goes, okay, and grabs the pen. Meanwhile, the vixen's over there thinking, how is this even real? Where on earth do I find a man who put a $3 million house in my name? And there he is smiling as he watches the money drop into the account. Man, the guy already had 15 million Chinese yuan. He says not even during the best times before his family went bankrupt did he have that kind of money in his account. If it weren't for dear Nana activating that little mission, it would have taken way longer. She really did deserve all the credit. Then the system chimes in saying that as a reward, he's been granted a villa by the lake in the city of Qingju. He's supposed to pick it up tomorrow morning office at 9. Even the saleswoman is getting all flustered now thinking he doesn't even seem to be dating that girl and he just bought a house. It'd be amazing to meet someone like him. Then she says, Mr. Shen, if you'd like, I can save your number. If I ever come across a cheap property, I'll send you a message. He says sure and lets her scan his info. Meanwhile, neither one, who's not even his girlfriend, starts getting pissed, wondering where this damn viper came from to start competing with her. Then she suddenly stands up and says she's also thinking about buying a house and it would be great to get some advice from him when the time comes. So yeah, she passes her number too. The girl takes advantage of the app already being opened and quickly scans his contact. He just shrugs and says, whatever. Then he apologizes to Nana, saying, unfortunately, he's got stuff to take care of today, so he won't be sticking around to interrupt the three of them any longer. He's heading out. The queen in the brass strap is left there wondering why he's leaving. She's got so much to offer. Come back here, man. Meanwhile, Nana's calling the other two to grab something to eat and chill for a bit. The fool over there just kind of goes along with it. Half an hour later, over at the school cafe, there's already another one throwing a fit. That's exactly why I love stories like this. There's always something entertaining going on. Looks like people are whispering about her, gossiping, or something. Meanwhile, on the phone, she's telling someone that she's getting the materials ready and will send all the info tomorrow. Just then, our guy walks by and hears her saying she's got something planned for tonight, so she won't be free. He sits down and asks the teacher what's going on. She explains that the school is planning to launch a startup initiative for the students. He asks why, and she says it's because the school wants to support entrepreneurial students, put up some money, build a space, give some guidance, that kind of thing. The problem is they don't have many partnerships and people outside are too eager to invest. He wants to know what the school's offering to anyone who backs it. And she says, well, obviously, the school offers the talent of the students since they basically be joining the companies and the ones who graduate from there are usually top quality students. But our guy doesn't hold back. He straight up calls out that their school isn't actually all that great. You know, it's not like it's some top-tier university. She admits she already knows that. That's exactly why it's been so hard to get any support. Then she remembers something. Apparently, there's a woman from the university who wants her to go to some bar to meet potential investors. But she already knows exactly what those old Junes are after, and she's really not in the mood for that. Shen Yuanwen, on the other hand, wants to help since he can see she's genuinely stressed. But even though he's got money, man, he's not about to just throw it away. For something like this to be worth it, at least a third of the students would need to be talented. But from what he sees, the school barely has even a fifth that fit the bill. She asks if he's actually interested, and he admits not really. The poor thing begs him to at least think about it. The project hasn't launched yet, and maybe it wouldn't be that hard to get off the ground. Depending on which investors show up, it might really happen. And then it hits. Boom. The life of perfection system kicks in. Someone inviolable doesn't just court money. They also need to build prestige and influence other parts of society. And since he's still a high school student, this was the first area he needed to impact. That's why he'd earn prestige points for investing in school projects. And for every 500 points, he get the chance to unlock a new talent, attribute, or something like that. These points were based on reputation. Basically, how people saw him around there. Obviously, the investment just got way more interesting. He doesn't need to worry about making money from it, just building up prestige. So it's more like spend cash and get points. And thinking about how many girls he could profit from, he figures, yeah, either way, this is gonna be worth it. They'll get to spend. Then he asks, so, teacher, if someone decides to invest, who gets to pick the students? The company of the school. She explains that technically, it's supposed to be the school, but since there aren't any investors yet, that could be up for negotiation. So she says if he's the one investing, he could be the one doing the selecting. And just like that, boom. One of the girls tries to pull a classic casting couch test on the spot. She tells him to stop joking around. She knows his family went bankrupt. How's someone who can't even afford tuition supposed to fund anything? But, man, he just whips out his phone and tells her to count how many zeros are in his bank account. The moment she sees those 9 digits, 15 million, she demands to know how he got that kind of cash. He explains that back when his family was still doing well, he bought a bunch of cryptocurrency. And now during the bankruptcy period, those coins skyrocketed. She's just standing there in shock. One of her students is a multimillionaire. Then he leans in close and says, come with me. Stick by my side, and you'll live a life of luxury, traveling the world with me. Now she's curious, but tries to play it cool. Tells him not to be silly. She wants him to focus on the project. She needs to know if she's really serious about something like this. Even she knows making money from it is tough. But the guy, man, he just says is not investing to make money. He wants to support the university and society. Out of nowhere, she starts imagining herself in bed, thinking how he actually seems really committed to this. And now she's wondering, when he said she traveled the world with him, was he being serious about that too? She snaps out of it, shaking her head, saying she needs to stop thinking that way. Then she stands up with a rising expression and says she's going to talk to the secretary, and they'll continue the conversation later. Our boy didn't even get a chance to respond. And then at 4 p.m., he gets a message from Nana with some little heart emojis from the cafe telling him to come try some of the good stuff. The bastard's picky, though. He says this one's not fully trained yet, so he'll have to go over there and teach her how it's done. On the other hand, at least her outfit's always on point. The scene then shifts to that blue-haired girl, Kang Xiaoi, who used to be a classmate. She says she doesn't know why she can't stop thinking about that weirdo Shen Yuan. He's not even that rich kid he used to be, can't even pay his own tuition anymore, so she really needs to get him out of her head. The girl in the plaid outfit is asking the other one, Yu Peng, if she's really going out with Huan Hebao, one of Shen Yuan's roommates. She says he's way better than Shen Yuan. At least when they go out, he actually pays for meals. With Shen Yuan, on the other hand, all she ever did was lose money. Then she tells her to keep her voice down. He's literally walking up right now. Our boy's just there, climbing the stairs, minding his own business. And, of course, these lovely ladies are already assuming he's off to some part-time gig. They are so damn spiteful they actually want to follow him just to find out where he works so they can have a good laugh at his expense. One of them sways her hips and calls out to him, asking where he's headed. If he's working somewhere selling stuff, they say they'll even come by and buy something. Just let them know. Shen Yuan's standing there confused, like, what are these lunatics even talking about? But if they want to play this little game, he's down to have some fun. So he tells them he's working at a coffee shop, and if they want, they can tag along, and he'll make something for them himself. Cut to the cafe. Nana and the brass-strapped queen finally remembered her name, Menglu, are chatting. The mean girls show up already starstruck by the other women like, damn, who are these long-legged beauties? That's what they actually said. And the two ladies lean in as Shen Yuan walks up, saying he missed them and that he's finally back. Menglu is clearly jealous, asking if those three high school girls were the things he needed to deal with. Our boy says he found them out on the street and just wanted to treat them to a cup of coffee. The other two girls glance around clearly rattled. They are stunned when they hear the women calling Shen Yuan boss. That doesn't add up. They assumed he was just working at this place as some random employee, not that he actually owned the whole thing. Xiaoi, the one with the giant heart, pulls her friend aside and says they better leave. No point getting tangled up in whatever this mess is. And sure enough, Yiping storms off saying that damn Shen Yuan brought them there just to humiliate them. Menglu, the brass-strapped queen, calls over to our boy, asking why the girls just ran off. He says they were probably intimidated by the two goddesses sitting in front of him. And I swear, Menglu immediately starts showing that brass strap again, telling him to quit with the compliments or she won't be able to hold back. Our guy, clearly unfazed, just takes a coffee from Nana. She says she didn't sweeten it much, but the King of Charms says if it was made by her, it's guaranteed to taste good. Menglu's watching all this, wondering why this guy keeps dropping these romantic one-liners out of nowhere. But even so, she can't help it. She says that when he does that and they got money, it's amazing. Out of the blue, she wants to know how tall he is and how much he weighs. He says 1.82 meters and, unfortunately, only 72 kilos since he recently lost weight. She asks why and he says he's been burning a lot of energy between the sheets lately. Nana's flustered, wondering why he says stuff like that. And weirdly enough, Menglu couldn't care less. She says she totally gets it. But then she pulls out her phone and says based on her math, he needs to gain at least another 10 kilos of muscle. 10 kilos? Girl, that's no small number. He replies that clearly she just wants him to join her gym. She confirms, yep. That's exactly what she meant. They keep chatting and a little while later, she says she's gotta head out. Of course, she leaves tossing her skirt and winking our boy. He's just standing there stunned by how bold she is, pulling that stunt right in front of her own friend. Eventually, Karma's gonna catch up with her. Then out of nowhere, he grabs Nana's arm and says it's time to get some exercise. Poor girl wants to know what kind of exercise he means. He just says it's the kind that burns a lot of energy. She says maybe that wasn't the best time. Another employee was there and the girl had just stepped out. But the rascal just replies that the more trouble, the better it gets. And with that, the SSR swordsman launched his attack on the demon's cavern. The poor employee nearby was hearing everything, eyes wide open, wondering why on earth her boss was being so bold. Right at that moment, Menglu comes back saying she forgot her purse. The girl tries to say it's not a good time, but Menglu tells her to just let her in already. As she heads over to grab the purse, she hears her friend yelling, telling him to slow down. She's stunned by how daring the two of them are. 10 minutes later, arms crossed. She wants to know how he even has that kind of stamina. Then she licks her lips and shouts that next time she'll have a proper talk with both of them. Nana is completely embarrassed, saying she never imagined she'd go through something like this. Meanwhile, Shen Yuan's wondering whether the cursed pay-per-view girls seriously stayed there eavesdropping for the full 10 minutes. The scene then cuts to Secretary Lu, who's asking about this whole thing with the student Shen Yuan wanting to invest in a startup project. Li Xiao insists she's not lying, and the guy wants to know if the kid actually has enough money. She says she didn't believe it at first either, but he showed her a bank account with over 10 million. Now the man's a bit shaken and wants to know if Shen Yuan can actually spend it. Maybe it's his parents' money or something like that. She replies that it seems to be entirely his, free to use however he wants. So the director immediately tells her to fully cooperate with him. Also, it'd be good if the Shen Yuan could come visit him at the office. He wants to speak with him face to face. Li Xiao asked the director to be a little more polite. After all, the boy isn't just a student anymore. He's also an investor. But he just tells her not to worry and follow instructions. Privately, he's thinking that they can't just let this kid run wild. He needs to be kept humble. Right in the middle of the SSR swordsman's fight, Shen Yuan gets a call from the teacher. As soon as she explained that the director's demanding a meeting, he's clearly not thrilled. He's putting money into this, so why are they trying to order him around? He tells her to put the call on speaker and asks if the director can hear him. Unfortunately, he says he's a busy man with multiple projects in the works and his time is valuable. But if a director wants to talk, he can get his number from Miss Xiao and send a message. And just like that, he hangs up. The director is left speechless while Xiao's turning red, shocked that he said something like that straight to the director. Naturally, the man is not pleased and says he doesn't want this filthy money anymore. Too bad the cursed project is urgent and they need results quickly. So he tells Xiao it's fine. Invite the kid to dinner. They need his money. When she lets Shen Yuan know, he realizes right away their tune changed real quick, which means they must be desperate for his investment, giving him the upper hand in this deal. Finally, the battle ends and Nana gets up, saying that since he has dinner plans, it should make the most of the rest of the day. The rascal thinks to himself that she really is an amazing woman, always so thoughtful. Right then, he gets a call inviting him to take a walk at the school's athletic field. He says that doesn't sound very exciting. He'd rather go out and have something cold to drink. He's talking with Minhyu and she says she's not feeling very well. But if he really wants to, it's not impossible. But our guy's a gentleman, he says her health comes first. He'll come pick her up at the dorm so they can walk together. When he arrives, she throws herself into his arms and he tells her she needs to be more careful and take good care of herself. She gives him a little kiss on the cheek and says is so kind. But then, bam, the killer question drops. She wants to know what exactly their relationship is between the two of them. She's convinced they've already done everything a couple's supposed to do. Right? Shen Yuan knows this is a dangerously loaded question. The problem is the mood is high and he doesn't want to lose the moment. So playing along, he says, of course, they are a couple. She asks if that's really true and he pulls her into a hug saying, obviously, yes. She then wants to know if that means she's officially his girlfriend. He kind of dodges the question while thinking he's gonna have a girlfriend, a darling, a beloved, a sweetheart, a babe, just stacking up titles. But she's all smiles and says that if that's the case, he's about to receive a big reward. He tells her to stop thinking like that and instead asks if she wants a car or a house to celebrate the start of their relationship. She laughs as if that's way too much. What she really wants is just some makeup and a couple of handbags. He teases her, saying she already has plenty of those. Plus, she spends more time at school than out and about, so a car wouldn't be very practical. And since that's the case, they might as well go look at some houses. She just hugs him and says she doesn't care. She just wants to stay close to him. The next day, he gets a message from Menglu asking if the skinny guy is ready. The rascal jumps on video and asks, since, when am I skinny? Also, that camera angle was awful. But that troublemaker throws it back at him, asking what he thought of the angle. She's in a workout outfit saying that soon she's gonna be part of the family. Right at that moment, guess who shows up? Jo Wanting. You remember her, the one who rejected our boy at the very beginning. She asks Mangalu why she's so happy. Mangalu brushes it off, saying it's nothing, just a funny friend. While they are sitting at the table, Wanting says class hasn't started yet, so she wants to know who this funny guy is. Mangalu casually shares that a friend of hers just got a $3 million apartment for him. Right away, Wanting stunned. She wants to know who this billionaire is, because if he's handing out places like that, he's gotta be seriously loaded. Naturally, her first thought is that he must be some old sugar daddy, and being around him must be awful. Then again, if an old guy gave her an apartment, she'd probably go along with it too. She really does need to find a better man. But Mangalu clarifies that the real problem is, no, he's a guy who just turned 20. He's even younger than her friend. Wanting immediately assumes he must be hideous. To which Menglu replies, not at all. He's actually handsome. Now Wanting is convinced her friend must be some kind of model, internationally competitive, one of the most beautiful girls out there. But Menlu says she's just as beautiful as Wanting. Each of them has their own charm. Wanting laughs and says, well, that explains it. You've got charm just as good as the teachers. Right then, Shen Yuan sends a message saying he's off to check out a new apartment. And immediately, Menglu offers to go with him, asking if he wants her company. He says sure, and she tells him to pick her up at the gym. Meanwhile, she's smiling like an idiot staring at her phone. Wani notices and asks what all the excitement is about. That's when Menglu says that, unfortunately, class will have to wait because the guy they were just talking about invited her to go see the new place with him. And instantly, Wanting realizes, damn, Menglu is stealing the boyfriend her friend just landed. But then again, based on what she's heard so far, yeah, she'd probably do the exact same thing. Right then, a guy from the gym named Hamlahai walks over, asking what the plan for class is today. Menglu just makes a face and dicks out. Watching from above, Wanting waits with Leahy and wonders how a guy with a car like an M9 managed to snag Menglu. They were dudes with way nicer cars who never stood a chance. She tells Leahy he has no idea. Apparently, the guy in that car just bought a $3 million apartment for one of her friends. Leahy's stunned, asking who the hell this billionaire is. And when the door opens, bam! Wanting sees the legendary Shen Yuan. She can't believe the bastard Menglu's been talking about all this time is him. Yep, the same guy she ditched just 2 weeks ago. The girl is practically having a sitcom meltdown, hand on her head, totally losing it. She glances at her phone. There's a message from that older guy she's been seeing, inviting her to spend the night at his place. She hates that guy because he's always way too blunt. But now that she's tangled up in this whole Shen Yuan situation again, she just replies, fine, and calls him an idiot. The guy, clearly confused, asks if it's really her. She shoots back, no. It's my mom, obviously. Poor guy's getting roasted at work, and now she's blushing hard. You already know what's going through her head, right? She's wondering if there's any chance of getting Shen Yuan back. The problem is, his coach is now in the game, and she seems to have some serious backup. Would it be too much if she tried to join that family? Meanwhile, in the car, Mangalu compliments his fancy ride, saying with all that space, you could do all sorts of things, long trips, for example. She's clearly trying to plant some spicy ideas in his head, but he responds, saying a trip through the forest would actually be pretty nice. Poor girl realizes he didn't quite pick up the hint and says he doesn't really know how to play along. He asks if she's trying to play tennis or something. She laughs. It's probably meant as a euphemism or innuendo or whatever, but, yeah, kind of hard to tell. Balls, rackets, nets, who knows? 30 minutes later, they arrive. He heads to reception and says is Shen Yuan there to pick up the property. The woman asks if he wants to check out the house first before signing, but he just tells her, nah, give me the contract. We'll look at the place later. Once it's all signed, the saleswoman is in the back seat of the car staring at the woman next to him. She's sure that's not his girlfriend, but she can tell the girl's trouble. She thinks to herself, these women are all gonna end up messing with each other. Suddenly, she's hit with an existential crisis. The world really is unfair. Here, she's working her tail off. While that girl doesn't seem to have any skills at all, just that dangerously tempting body, and somehow that's enough to make men lose their minds and buy a house. When they arrive, our boy is handed the keys to a massive mansion. Thing looks like a medieval castle. Of course, the fired-up trainer is already saying the place is amazing. She's thinking to herself that rich people really do live differently, and she has to win Shen Yuan over if she wants to live in a place like this. The saleswoman starts explaining the size, layout, and all that stuff. But just then, the system congratulates him, saying to make the house truly perfect, it needs perfect interior design. If he gets a custom exclusive design, he'll earn 20 million. The man's pumped. This mission sounds easy. He asked a woman if she knows any good design companies. He grabs the contact info and says he's heading out. There's not much point in staying when the place isn't even fully furnished yet. Meanwhile, Meng was asking if she can take some pics for social media. He agrees as long as his face doesn't show up. She says she'd never post his face. If she did, it'd just attract a whole horde of thirsty demons trying to compete for him. Back in the car, he laughs and asks how many followers she's got. She says 50,000. He asked if they are mostly foreigners and she says no. It's mostly local people who know her from around town. She then has to be dropped off back at the gym, but he tells her they are heading to play basketball now. And there it is. This guy stole my metaphor trick to talk about scoring. She says no way, but he reminds her that he got her friend all sore yesterday. Our guy floors it and tells her she shouldn't even bring up yesterday, especially after she stayed 10 whole minutes listening in. Now it's time to pay the price. Even so, if she still says she's not in the mood. But, obviously, the sly girl is saying no just to play hard to get. She knows that if she makes it too easy, he'll start seeing her as cheap, and the more she drags it out, the more she'll be able to win him over. In her head, she's already imagining herself reeling him in, setting up a new trap every day, keeping him hooked, and always wanting more. She steps out of the car, thanks him, and says he can come train anytime he wants. He replies that maybe, but if he does come back, it'll be to play basketball. She walks into the gym, all smiles, only to bump right into the manager, Gong Mingbo. He wants to know what she's been up to. He heard she skipped a class today, and that's clearly a breach of contract. Mangalu explains she had an important personal matter to deal with and that she'll even pay double the class cost to make up for it. But the manager says that even so, Monsieur filed a complaint. Hoof. Huang Xing staying loyal to the rules, she got lucky he handled the issue for her. But Menglu instantly figures it out. This guy's pulling the classic someone complained. But don't worry. I fixed it for you move just to make her feel grateful and maybe fall for him. But that's not her type of guy. She just weighs him off saying she's going back to work. Poor guy, pretty clear his little plan got exposed. He awkwardly tries to ask if she wants to go grab something to eat, but she answers that she brought her own fitness food today. No need to eat out. Meanwhile, she's daydreaming about the future, picturing herself living in that huge luxury villa. When I first saw this girl, I thought she'd disappear after one chapter. But no, she's a real contender. Back at school, a few higher-ups are having conversation about that boy, Shen Yuan, who's interested in investing in the entrepreneurship program. Mr. Liu, standing nearby, says they invited the boy to dinner, but apparently, he still hasn't replied to Professor Lai. Then the secretary sitting on the right, Kang Zhongping, says they shouldn't look down on him just because he's a student. If he's going to invest, they have to treat him with the proper respect. That's why he'll personally invite the boy himself to show they truly value his support. Liu looks a bit shaken, saying that someone like the secretary, in person, that might be overdoing it a little. Meanwhile, in the dorm room, Hai Bio is telling our boy that he's been talking to Yiping for a few days now, and he wants to know when something's finally going to happen. His texts are like, good morning. Want breakfast? No. It's raining. Need an umbrella? No. Want help this weekend? No. Wanna go to the mountains? Also, no. Shen Yuan jots down. This poor guy hasn't made a single bit of progress in 3 years, but the guy defends himself saying at least this one replies. The other girl he was talking to didn't even read his messages. So technically, he's doing well. Shen Yuan's thinking, there's no hope for this dude. What am I even supposed to say to someone who gets excited over that? So he tells him to go ask their friend Kai for help. But then the guy says, KO, that dude's a hopeless virgin too. He won't help at all. The poor guy at the PC is like, why am I catching strays out of nowhere? Then he turns to Shen and says, look, she's been replying a lot lately and she agreed to go out with me. What do you think? Shen Yuan tells him, good luck. Sounds like you're on the right track. Huang lights up, saying, if Shen Yuan approves, then it's a done deal. Right at that moment, there's a knock at the door. When they open it, it's the school directors and Liza Ears with them. Everyone wants to know, where is Shen Yuan? His roommates immediately assume he's in trouble. Man, people at this university are nosy. Outside, there's already a crowd gathering, trying to figure out what's going on. One guy asks the Gucci-wearing kid if he knows anything. He says he heard Shen Yuan's money was all shady, probably the cops coming to arrest him. So the friend steps out of the room and tells the loudmouth to stop spreading nonsense. Lake Xiao then turns to our boy and says that Kong from the committee wants to speak with him. Shen Yuan greets him politely and the older man introduces himself, asking if he's available for dinner tonight. Seeing that the guy came all the way there personally, our boy agrees. The man thanks him and says they'll have a good chance to talk in detail about the entrepreneurship project. Looks like they are heading out already, and folks around campus are kinda confused. Why is this big shot personally inviting the kid to dinner? Shen Yuan's friends are just whispering in his ear, teasing him, while the salty guy in the room is fuming with jealousy. The scene cuts to the Nanjing restaurant. Our boys there in a tank top didn't bother dressing up at all. To be fair, neither the old guy nor the woman did either, so whatever. Right away, Shen Yuan says that if he's going to invest, it's going to be on his terms. He wants full control over who receives funding through the entrepreneurship initiative. How much and to whom? That's all going to be up to him, and the school shouldn't interfere. Liu jumps in ready to say that's too much, but Kong immediately tells him to shut it. Kong then calmly explains to Shen Yuan that, look, the school has this project. It's a big deal. Plus, they have to report back to the media and be accountable for how things are handled, so they can't just follow investor demands blindly. But Shen Yuan fires back saying that would only make sense if they had money to invest. Since they don't, they are better off accepting the offer. And besides, he plans to invest in a way that earns him returns, not losses. So, of course, he's going to choose the best candidates and act in his best interest too. And, honestly, he's looking to gather talented people now. because when he becomes a powerful magnate later, he's going to need a big team. A big team, meaning, a whole lineup of women at his fingertips, this rascal. Kong says he understands the conditions, but Shen Yuan will need to attend a meeting with the rest of the project staff to discuss things further. After a few glasses of wine and some small talk, the dinner wraps up. On the way home, look who's riding in the car with him. She compliments the space in his luxury car, saying it's really roomy. He's about to respond when she suddenly gets a call. Apparently, someone named Lai Ming, who if memory serves, is her sister, had a problem and won't be able to help her with something anymore. Like, Xiaobo says it's fine and hangs up. Seems like she's moving out and Xiaobo asks why. She explains that the lease on the apartment she shares with her sister ran out and the landlord doesn't want her anew. So now they have to find a new place. Right away, our guy offers to help with the move. She can use his car. It's big, but she says that wouldn't be right. She's already asked too much of him, and besides, his car is brand new. He just says, cars are made to be used. And besides, you're a teacher. I'm just a student trying to be supportive. She kinda gives in realizing he's not going to take Mill for an answer, and now she's starting to blush. She even admits that setting aside the fact that he's a student, he really is attractive. Then she remembers the handbag he gave her. But now considering his financial situation clearly isn't bad anymore, maybe it was the real deal after all. She asks if he remembers that bag he gave her, and he says, yeah. Why? She starts to say something, but he cuts in, saying it was real. He already knew she'd doubt it. He's not some struggling student anymore. Giving a gift to someone who helped him out isn't wrong. He simply gave something to someone he respects, and that's all there is to it. Now she's full tomato mode, completely red, thinking none of this is appropriate. She starts to say something, but he stops her and tells her to just drive. Don't try to return it. He's not taking it back. Later in the car, she asks if he's going to sleep at home tonight. He says no. He doesn't have a place nearby, so he decides to go to the dorms. She then hands him the car keys and tells him to just bring it back tomorrow. It's totally fine. And, wow, she looks stunning in that photo. The rascal thanks her and gives her a quick kiss on the cheek. She realizes he's getting bold now. Last time he was at her place, he suddenly leaned in out of nowhere. Then when he was by the bookshelf, same thing. And now this, she runs off, shouting that he's the worst student ever. Right at that moment, Nana sends him a message saying it looks like one of the cafe workers left something behind and needs to get in, but she's far away. Wait, actually, it wasn't her. It was that other woman who hangs around there, the tall one with the exploding skirt, Kong ceiling. She apologizes and says she accidentally left some toys at the cafe. Toys? What kind of toys, girl? Anyway, our boy heads over and says, no problem. He'll open it for her. She walks in and starts looking around, saying it's something of her kids. Okay. I thought this was about never mind. Our guy's just standing there, casually observing all the high-quality assets in the room. He asks how old her kid is and she says 3.5. A real handful, apparently. But he notices she grabs a bottle of wine, so now her whole story isn't really adding up. She turns back around and says she's got everything. He asks why she's looking around like that. Oh, right. He bought the cafe from her. She's feeling nostalgic being there again. Our boy immediately picks up on it. Whatever's going on in her life, it's clearly not great. She came all the way back just to pick up a bottle of wine. Yeah, something's off. So he tells her that if she ever wants to come by and visit, she's welcome to. She replies that she'd rather not stop by too often. That's when he invites her to have a drink, figuring she was already planning on drinking alone anyway, and she doesn't hesitate even a second. She asked if he's sure, and he just says, yeah. As he pours the wine, he asks if it's a family issue. Why she seems so down. She says he noticed pretty fast. How do you always pick up on everything? He tells her he knows her husband, Mr. Zheng Shanyang, who works at the car dealership. He heard that guy used to mess around with Chen Eni when she worked there, even though he was already married. The tall one asks, did something actually happen between him and Chen Eni? He says, probably not, but he was definitely pushing it hard. That's why she quit. She responds, just another name to add to my list. Lately, she's been seriously thinking about divorce and has even started gathering the paperwork to prepare. The problem is the guy's a nightmare. He's threatening people at work, employees too, so she knows it's not going to be an easy process. Plus, now that there's a kid involved, she doesn't even know how that'll affect the child. It's getting messy. Our guy, of course, cuts straight to the point and says, if it's over, then it's over. There's no point in dragging it out. It'll only make things worse for the kid. She admits he's right. Yeah. That actually makes a lot of sense. But girl, for real, you're reaching deep conclusions off of one sentence from this guy. Still, she sees him as being kind for spending time with her. The tall lady in red thanks him. She stands up, saying she should probably get going. but she stumbles a little and falls right into him. What's going on here? She apologizes quickly, then leans in to give him a kiss goodbye and runs off. Our guy's left standing there, completely confused. Outside, she's thinking to herself that she must be going crazy. She had some wine and totally lost control. All these years, she's behaved properly, and now she goes and acts like that out of nowhere. He calls Nana and says that after helping her friend, he ended up too far from home and will have to sleep over at her place tonight. Nana says she can just book him a place to stay, but he tells her, nope, I'm going to your place. It's better that way. He tells her there's no need to spend money on that, and she doesn't have to worry. He's just coming over for a little hug. But when he gets there, oh man, look how she greets him. Our boy's already stumbling a bit, clearly tipsy, and tells her he just come from a dinner with some people from the school. She tells him to sit down and relax for a bit, that she'll make him some tea. But he's already gone in for a hug and tells her there's no need to worry. She wants to know what that's about, and he says it's just a quick hug. She remembers, first time, he said it was just water. Next time, it was exercise. Now it's this hug thing. The guy always has some kind of excuse, but looks like tonight, he won't be scoring. She's already set the bed up with some space between them, lies down, and turns her back. Staring at her, he wonders why. He thought she already accepted him deep down. But this guy, he's slick. He lies down and says he's freezing. To be fair, the room is cold and he drank enough that his body can't warm up. She says she'll turn the heater on, but he says that's too complicated. Why all this tech? When he could just get closer to her, that would be enough. She starts to say something, but he cuts her off, saying the cold is gone now. Yeah, pretty clear, the bastard scored again. Next morning, she wakes up saying she washed his clothes and already headed out to work. At the same time, he wakes up to a message and to explosive calls from none other than Menglu. Again, wanting to know where her skinny guy is at the gym. Yumini's getting annoyed with himself now. This girl's friends with Nana, he thinks. He can't even start his day seeing stuff like this. Then the girl pops up holding 2 basketballs, wanting to know why his phone's so far away. He opens his eyes slowly as she asks, what? Are you afraid I'm gonna eat you or something? And, man, his phone just keeps going off. Now he's getting a call from Xiao. When he says he's got something to deal with, Menglu says she'll hang up and gives him a playful wave. Once he picks up, Xiao tells him his project got approved. He tells her all students involved will need to submit a photo, their height, and weight. She wants to know why. He says an entrepreneur needs to have good physical condition and looks. It's the only way he can judge their discipline and how will they take care of themselves. She finds it a little strange, but since he's the one investing in making the request, they'll go along with it. And it seems everything's already arranged for him to meet the first batch of students a little later. He says that's fine. Then she adds that she and her sister are moving tomorrow and asks if he'll be free. He says yes, and half an hour later, he's heading out for breakfast. But another call, it's Manhwa again. This girl just won't leave him alone. As soon as he picks up, she says, you said you were going out, but you're still home. He replies he's busy. He has to review some villa designs and company stuff. She teases, asking if he's looking for a little problem to keep beside him. He laughs, realizing she knows he's the actual problem here. Since she does give him some solid emotional support, he says if she wants to stick around, that's fine. She sends a super high residential selfie and tells him she's waiting at the gym. Sometime later, our boy is standing there waiting for her. And then we get that classic Manhwa scene. Right? Some older guy pulls up, saying his car is pretty nice, but his car is better. He tells Shen Yuan that if he wants to pull quality women's guy go high-end. But for a student, he guesses it's not that bad. Shen Yuan just thanks him. Then the tall one arrives. Yep, Menglu shows up. The rich guy says, so Menglu finally appeared and asks what she wants to eat today. She thanks Mr. Fan, yeah, that's literally his name, and says, unfortunately, she already made other plans and sent him a message. The guy offers to tag along, but Shen Yuan cuts in and says, sorry. My car is way too cheap to carry someone as rich as you. She walks in, waves goodbye to the guy, and tells Shen Yuan to hurry up and follow. Now the dude's sulking, wanting to know why she accepted a ride from that guy. Sure, he's rich, but most of that money comes from his parents. That's exactly why she prefers Shen Yuan. In the car, she starts explaining to our boy that Mr. Fan is really wealthy, got a $2 million car from his parents, blah blah blah. Shen Yuan just looks at her and says, okay. And why are you telling me this? She is a little awkward, asking why he's being so cold today. Normally, he's not like that. He asks, what exactly did you expect me to say? She turns away now even more annoyed. Our boy knows exactly what's up. This girl invited the other guy just to stir things up, to create a little competition, so they could realize other men were chasing her too. Yeah. Well, he's not falling for that game. He even says that if she wants him to be more active, he could really use some exercise. She gets mad, starts shaking him and calling him a perv. He replies, "What? A little basketball never hurt anyone." She snaps back that right after she left the cafe the other day, he ran straight upstairs. So yeah, she already knows exactly what kind of game he's talking about. Shen Yuan realizes she's going to hold on to that moment for the rest of her life. Then she switches the subject and asks why her life is always so peaceful, like how she always has time to follow him around. She answers her own question. She's not actually free. She's just choosing to put other things aside to be there with him. He apologizes and she says she won't accept it. Not unless it comes with dinner at a really nice restaurant. And now he's pushing it even further, saying he's got something she can really enjoy. Thank God the scene changes. Now he's talking to the folks from the furniture company. The woman starts showing some slides, European style this, modern that, a whole bunch of styles. Mangalu says it all looks pretty good and wants to know how much he's planning to spend. Playing dummies is not much this time, just about 20 million. Immediately, the girl flinches like she's been shocked, eyes wide. Here comes the queen in the bra strap, and now she's also queen of the skirt, lifting and dropping both at once. What a menace. Him to be spending that much, he's gotta have at least a 100 million to his name. Shen Yuan stands up and says, just go the classic Chinese style. That's it. The woman thanks him and says that Mr. Huang would like to meet him. Wants to be friends. But our guy says the contract isn't even finalized yet, so maybe it's a bit early for dinner. She apologizes and explains the boss just wants to be friendly, but is already saying goodbye. Even so, she's left there looking smitten. I mean, 20 million is enough to fund the whole company. Geez. But when she steps into the next room, she says Mr. Chen agreed to do dinner later on. Baldy, Mr. Wan Remen, says it's important they build a good relationship with this kid. He asks if Shen Yuan will be going alone. The woman says he'll probably bring a girl, though the one with him didn't seem like a wife. The man says it doesn't matter if she's a girlfriend or not. Just get the legendary Suck Sway to keep him company. Back in the car, the girl says the AC is way too hot, but he says he feels perfectly fine. She asks what he plans to do afterward, and he says it doesn't matter. He's dropping her off at work. She, however, replies, not today. She's planning to tag along with him, eating for free wherever he goes. Our boy says if she's gonna follow him all day, then she has to stick around for the night too. Now she's getting all kinds of wild thoughts, but just mutters that is a perv. Still, she refuses to get out of the car. No way she's going back to work. Next chapter. Her friend's calling, wanting to know what she's up to. Meng says she's just in the car. The poor girl assumes she's in Mr. Fan's car, the one they left behind. But Meng Lu, being honest, says nope. She's in Shen Yuan's car. Immediately, her friend wants to know. Wait, did you guys do it? She says no. They didn't do anything. She just went to take a look at some renovation plans for a house he bought and a few furniture designs, stuff like that. But the moment she mentions how much he spent, her friend's shocked, saying it doesn't make any sense for him to be throwing around that kind of money. Seriously, the cursed Shenai was one lucky girl. She found a gold mine, and now her friend's swimming in it too. She realizes that the two girls who used to be neck and neck with her are now living the good life. Maybe it's because they are a bit more blessed in the upper department. Later that evening at the Nanjing restaurant, a guy greets Mr. Wan, wondering what he's doing there. Wan, the bald one, replies that he's waiting for a very VIP client. The guy wishes him good business and leaves, eyeing the girl with curiosity, wondering why Baldy brought along such a beauty. As soon as our boy parks the car, he lets the man know it's him. The guy rushes over in a bit of a panic to greet him. He immediately wants to know if the girl next to him is his girlfriend, and our boy flatly says no, just a friend. Her name's Liu. The man greets her, and now she's fuming. He didn't even hesitate a split second to say she wasn't his girlfriend. At the table, of course, the man wants to introduce his assistant designer, Suzu. Shen Yuan greets her with a handshake and instantly notes how soft her skin is, how her fingers feel smooth like jade. She carried a kind of purity untouched by the world, unlike the ones always hanging around him. Baldy already notices that our boy seemed interested for a moment and says there's no need to talk business tonight. It's just a chance to get to know each other. The one in next Chue nudges her, telling her to toast with the esteemed Mr. Chen, that it's a chance to get close to him. She gets up and raises her glass. A toast to you. Our boy thanks her casually. Menglu wants to drink too, but he tells her not today since she'll be the one driving them back. She's not happy about it, but oddly, she's celebrating inside because in a way, it makes it feel like they are in a relationship. Strangely, Shu Wei stumbles over with her glass, awkwardly saying she wants a toast with him too. He calmly replies that she can have tea if she's not into alcohol. Baldy quickly steps in, apologizing, saying she doesn't really drink, but explains she's from the south. She hasn't graduated college yet, but since they are close in age, they should be able to communicate well. He tells her add Shen on social media and start building a connection with such a talented young man. Menglu immediately sees through it. This old man brought this girl to evaluate the business world from another angle. Clearly, this pure-looking girl was being thrown at Shen Yuan like an offering. It was no different from high-end pimp operation. Then a guy in a green jacket walks over, saying he wants to send over a drink for the gentleman. Baldy calls our boy over and introduces the guy as Lin Gunjo, his grandson. He also introduces Shen Yuan to him, saying he's incredibly gifted young man for his age. Weirdly, Gunjo is super hyped to meet Shen Yuan. "Why are you so red, dude? Man, I can't even remember this guy. He looked at Shen Yuan like he recognized him, but I have no idea where they've met before. Now my memory's fried. Seriously, I don't remember this dude." Baldy asks if they know each other. Our boy replies, kind of, not too much, not too little. Then Baldy tells his grandson that Shen Yuan bought a $10 million villa and is planning to spend another $20 million on furniture. The kid is stunned. Turns out the egghead Baldy had been trying to impress for years is now here doing everything he can to suck up to Shen Yuan. So the kid decides if grandpa's brown-nosing this guy that is gonna kiss up too, it was better to just follow his lead. The guy congratulates our boy and says that from now on, he'll have to call them Mr. Shen. 3 hours later, yep, the bald guy's inviting our boy out to karaoke. My god, he's had this kid on lock all day. He invites Menglu too, and she's hesitating. This girl is so fitness-focused that her whole life runs on a strict diet and perfect sleep schedule, all for the gains and that healthy glow. Shen Yuan tells her if she doesn't want to go, she can head home, get some sleep, and keep her perfect routine. But the moment she glances at the competitor sitting across from her, she knows. If she doesn't go, that little viper is going to throw herself at him, and their night could end up getting very cozy, which for her would be very bad. God help her. She's imagining the worst already, like he's gonna put a baby in that girl tonight. She jumps up a little, panics, saying she's definitely going. No way she's missing out on this. So off they go to karaoke. Tube is just eyeing our boy the whole time. She looks like she wants to offer him something, maybe a drink or whatever, but he tells her he's good. He's had more than enough today and just wants to chill. Besides, he's already noticed that she's not really used to places like this, so there's no need for her to push herself. She lowers her head, looking a little embarrassed, and thanks President Chen. He tells her to keep her chin up. A girl of her age working at such a big company is pretty impressive. Oh no. This bastard's about to start playing his game with her now, and Mangalu notices immediately. She asks if it doesn't bother him that she's sitting right there. He replies that the one who should be bothered is that Mr. Fan guy with the $2 million car. He's probably texting her right now. Of course, she's annoyed that that's the thing he decided to bring up, and she wonders why none of her usual tricks are working on this damn guy. Then Siyi asks if there's any song he likes, she'll pick one for him. He says he doesn't care. Whatever she picks, he'll sing it anyway. Menglu tells him to quit staring at the girl like that. She's about to melt. He says he looks at her the same way he looks at Menglu. She immediately snaps, yeah, right? When he stares at her, all she feels is sleaze. No emotion. He replies that's her fault for the way she keeps throwing herself at him. Besides, doesn't matter. The result's always the same. She raises an eyebrow. And what is the result? He looks her in the eye. The bed. Right then, her little heart ticks up another point. This girl is into it. He's rich and handsome, so she lets it slide. At least he's honest. If he were ugly and broke, well, she doesn't even want to say what she'd be calling him. He grabs the mic, and she tells him to tone it down a bit. Then Baldy walks in, handing him the mic, telling him to sing something, and boom, scene cuts to outside. Damn it. I wanted to hear the boy sing something bold. Now the old man's still buttering him up, shaking his hand, saying he never imagined he'd make a lifelong friend at this age. Our boy thanks him and says that because of their design team, he'll definitely give priority to their company. Then the woman grabs Sway and says they're heading out, waving goodbye. Our boy asks if she'll be alright, and the woman says not to worry. She'll make sure Sui gets home safe. That leaves just him and Menglu. She asks if he wants her to call a car for him. He tells her not to worry. He'll just find a hotel nearby and crash there. She finds it a little odd. Why not just grab a taxi and go home? He replies, well, if you're that concerned, you could offer me a little spot to sleep. And the girl knows exactly what he means. The thing is, she's starting to feel like if she refuses too hard right now, she might just lose the prize. She grabs her boy by the shoulder, her heart pounding at 75 beats per minute, and says she's not the kind of woman who brings men home. She's a decent girl. But he just stares at her, a little confused, wondering why her affection level shot up so high. He tells her to forget it and asks where she lives. He'll call the cab himself. But now she changes her mind and says she's not going home. He wants to know then where exactly she's planning to sleep. She tells him to quit messing around and stop acting like a clown. He shrugs and says, all right then, and tosses her into the car. Inside, she's mentally begging the heavens for him to be gentle tonight, unlike those sounds she heard back at the cafe. Meanwhile, the old driver watching through the rearview mirror is just thinking about her curves, her face, the airbags. Man, the life of the rich really is different. They pull up to the Grand Hyatt, the most luxurious hotel in town, and strangely, our boy says he wants to rent a suite for a whole month. What? Even Menglu's confused. Why so long? She asks. It's just one night. He ignores her. The lady at the desk says it's 110,000. He swipes the card without a second thought. Of course, now that her affection is over 60, everything he spends gets tripled in return. So it's time to start throwing money around. Upstairs in the hotel room, she looks out at the view and says it's incredible. She's feeling a little guilty about stealing him from Mana, but something tells her that something good is coming from this guy. Not sure what exactly she's imagining, but our boy's already moving in on her neck, asking if it's time to play some golf. Good grief. The artist is bringing all his skills tonight. She tells him it'd be better if he went and took a shower first. He says no. They'll shower later. She points out the curtains are wide open. He says not to worry. From this glass you can only see out and not in. And with that, after 10 whole chapters, our boy finally invades the bomb site. Next morning, he wakes up. It's past noon. The night was long. He didn't expect Mangalu, who trains daily at the gym, to end up this worn out. The moment he touches her, she snaps, asking if he's crazy. They didn't sleep until 4 in the morning. He should be resting. Meanwhile, she's wondering how someone like her, who trains every single day, got completely destroyed by a skinny guy. What am I even reading? Help. Our boy answers, saying he treated her gently. Normally, goes all night, but he held back. He's even calling her Lulu now, and she tells him to cut it out. She just wants a few more minutes of sleep. He says, fine. He'll let Coach Leah rest a bit. When she wakes up, he's going to let her choose a car. As long as it's under 3 million, she bolts upright instantly and tells him to say that again. This girl, man, she's got a talent for this. She says if that's the case, then she loves him to death. Strangely, our boy starts wondering what Nana's reaction would be if she got a car too. This little devil, Menglu, quickly says she really likes a Porsche that costs just over 2 million. Is that okay? He says yes. Now she's thinking out loud, saying that once she talked with Nana, who mentioned liking Maseratis. But those are super expensive. Shen Yuan perks up. Really? Nana wants a Maserati. Her friend says he is. Wait, are you planning to buy one for her? The guy doesn't beat around the bush. He says he won't lie. He is interested. That's when Menglu realizes she's still not number one, especially since a Maserati costs at least 5 million. Next, we see her chatting with a friend on WhatsApp. The friend wants to know who she spent the night with at the Grand Hyatt. She replies, yes. Someone took me there. And strangely, send that cat emoji, the one with its mouth on a sandwich. Yeah, the one you're thinking about. The friend asks what she did, and she replies, obviously, I did Shen Yuan. My heart got soft and I went with it. Her friend realizes that this damn Menglu is being dramatic, acting like Shen Yuan pushed her into it. But deep down, she knows Menglu wanted it from the start. Now that she sees another one of her friends climbing aboard that luxury yacht, she can't help but wonder, how is she unlucky one in the group? Meanwhile, Shen Yuan's getting dressed, telling her to go find the car, send him the details, and he'll transfer the money. Their bond has already reached item 16. He looks at it and knows. A 90 reward is just around the corner. In the car, on speakerphone, Mana says she's learned to make some really good coffee and asks when he's coming to try it. He makes excuses, says he can't come today, but soon is planning to buy her a car as compensation. She, of course, tries to turn it down. Says he's already given her a house, a job, all of that. It's not necessary. But he simply replies, there's nothing wrong with spending on the woman I love. Is there? Would she really say no to a gift? She seems to accept, though she says she wants something in a lower category, like the Type B car, something cheap. He says it's got to be at least 2 million and she's stunned. Then the guy plays 4D chess, bro. Right after dropping the car news and catching her off guard, he slips in. By the way, something happened between me and Menglu last night. Does it bother you? She's still reeling from the car bombshell, but says yes. Of course it bothers her. Still, she knows she can't change him. He reassures her not to worry. There's a space in his heart that only she can fill. The poor girl is all choked up, emotional. Man, Shen Yuan plays so hard. I almost feel bad for the girls. Our boy's genuinely surprised by how much she cares for him, to the point she's worried about him spending too much. He tells her he'll be back to spend the night with her, and she softly asks him to please. She's giggling now, all flustered, saying she'll head back to work. Guys, the tables are turning. Shen Yuan is struggling to keep up his scumbag act. He's telling himself being a jerk is way harder than it looks. And just as he says that, guess who shows up? Advisor Lag Xiao carrying a bunch of boxes. Of course, our boy rushes over to help. The first box he grabs, it's full of bras, apparently made of paper. Cause those things just flew out like they had wings. Now his brain's gone flying too. He's standing there thinking, if this were real, oh man. She tells him to stop staring and helps gather things off the ground. Her sister loads up the car and says one trip won't be enough, so he'll have to make a few runs. Lag Xiao gives him the address, and on the way, she apologizes for her sister. Says she's a bit rude and doesn't seem to like him. He tells her not to worry. Honestly, she seemed less cold than last time. Then Lag Xiao explains. Her sister was in a long-distance relationship for years. But one Christmas, she made a surprise visit and caught him cheating. Ever since, she gave up on men completely. Shen Yuan says that guy's absolute trash. What kind of man does something like that? Right then, Lai Xiao asks, what kind of man is he? And strangely, he answers, I'm a pure man from the Great Lands. What? Why did he say that? No idea. Even weirder. She reacts like, oh, okay. Cool. He asks what she thinks of him. Out of nowhere, she turns bright red, lean forward. Girl, what are you doing? Got an itch on your back? Looks like she just now processed what he said and asked him to repeat it. He says he was joking. Wants to know why she's so flustered. She's sitting there all awkward. This woman's a bit strange too. Later, after they've brought all the boxes up, she offers him some water and food, and here it comes. He says he'd rather she showed her appreciation a different way. She's leaning into him clearly, and obviously, he goes in and kisses her. Dear Lord, now he's going full Book of Revelations, biting her neck. And her sister's already at the door, telling them to open up because she forgot her key. Glagshaw is asking our guy to let go before her sister sees what's going on. As soon as she opens the door, she immediately wants to know why her face is so red. Did she have a heart attack or something? Xiao, all flustered, says no. She just needs to rest. Going up and down stairs is tiring. Meanwhile, she's just relieved her sister doesn't seem suspicious. Right after, she cuts the mood by bringing up school stuff, reminding him about the project he's investing in and saying she'll contact him about it later. He thanks her at the door, says he won't be a bother anymore, and leaves. Of course, he wanted to stay longer, but with that damn Limeyan around, there's no chance. As soon as he leaves, the sister asks what she thinks of Shen Yuan. Xiao looks a little awkward, and the sister tells her to stop pretending. Anyone could see the way he looked at her. That definitely wasn't just a student-teacher thing. Xiao let some details slip, saying she doesn't really know how to explain it. Right then, the sister says it's obvious. She's catching feelings. But surprisingly, the sister's kind of supportive. She says that aside from the fact that he's still a student, he actually seems like a decent guy. Still, she warns that he doesn't seem like someone you can really count on. Xiao says she's not against him, and the sister replies that it's her life. She's not going to interfere, but she should keep her eyes open, because that boy doesn't exactly scream dependable, and that little sideways glance she gives. Now I don't even know if it's the sister or Xiao who's catching feelings. Man, I'm lost. An hour later over at the campus cafe, the dude tried to put blush on her stomach, and the poor girl looks like she got punched. She's calling for Shen Yuan, and her name is Fuyimze. She handles the broadcasting stuff at the university. Our boy shows up apologizing for taking so long and says her voice sounded different from when they first spoke. She explains that's normal for a voice actress and says she'll be helping him get his office set up and sorting out a few things. He thanks her and says he actually has a few more requests and wants to know if she can help him with everything for the room. She agrees, although a bit unsure, and asks what else he needs help with. Before he can answer, some dude walks in with a bag saying he brought her favorite hot dog. Shen Yuan glances over like, who the hell is this weirdo? And quickly realizes by the guy's look, yep, he thinks he's got romantic competition. Yang Zi shuts him down immediately, saying she's on a diet. The guy insists, saying he ran 5 kilometers and stood in line for 20 minutes just to get it for her. But she keeps cursing him out, telling him to leave because she doesn't want his hot dog. Then he asks who Shen Yuan it is and she says it's none of his business. Man, the poor guy left looking completely crushed. I don't even know why he was in this story. Just get humiliated. And look who's standing in the middle of the cafe, Fang Minhui, the legendary one. She already spotted Yang Zi with Shen Yuan. Her friend comments that since they've already been on 2 dates, it's pretty clear now that his family isn't actually broke. And with that, Minhui charges in, ready to show just how shameless this girl is. She walks up giving Shen Yuan kisses, clinging to him and asking if he's going to class. He awkwardly replies that, no, he's talking about something with Yang Zi. But Minhui holds on tight, scolding him for missing too many classes. How is he going to pass anything if he failed all his courses? Yang Zi gets up. She knows full well that this girl showed up just to make it look like they were a couple. So she tells Shen Yuan she's got things to take care of and heads out first. He stays there, not really sure what to do, and just waves goodbye. Meanwhile, the students around them are stunned. An unthinkable love triangle, really, because these two goddesses were fighting with this one guy. Minute Hui, a bit off, wants to know who that girl was and what they were talking about. But she knows Yingzi well. She has such a sweet voice, and there's no way she can let a snake like that get close to her. Shen Yuan. Our guy tells her not to worry. They were just discussing the entrepreneurship initiative the school is launching with him, though in his head, he's already thinking that Hui. Unfortunately, it is way too possessive. How was she supposed to keep up with his lifestyle? Still, he tells her he missed her, especially since it's been 2 days since they last saw each other, but sadly, she has class now. Not before she leans in and whispers something in his ear, then walks away with a flirty goodbye. He's left there thinking that this girl really is a sweet little menace. Right then, he gets a call from the Queen of Gold Diggers herself, Manglu the Bull, saying she's already picked the car he promised her. Only 2,500,000.0. And on top of that, she wants to know if they are going to the hotel tonight because she's already picked out 2 different outfits. He asks what kind of outfits and she just tells him he'll find out later. But Shen Yuan had already made plans with Nana for tonight, plus, Hui had also invited him out. Now the guy's torn between all these choices. Tough life. Meanwhile, back at Lai Xiao's place, her sister's bringing up the idea of making dinner and inviting him over. Yes, Shen Yuan. Xiao looks puzzled, wondering why her sister's suddenly so supportive. And strangely enough, that girl doesn't seem right in the head either. She says that something about the way he acts makes her want to bite him, and then says she's obviously inviting him just to test the guy. Xiao agrees, a bit hesitant, and sends him a message saying her sister appreciated all the help and is inviting him for dinner. Our guy reads the message and wonders what kind of mess this is turning into. Even a master of time manipulation would have trouble juggling all of this. He decides man can't bite every apple in the orchard. This time, he's going to turn down Hui and Coach Menglu. Now he's at the door walking in all casual, thanking them, saying he'll eat whatever they're having. It's their home after all. Looking around, he notices they've just moved in, but the place already looks nice and tidy. He asks where the sister is and she says she's still in the shower. But then suddenly, she turns and tells him not to come any closer. He's confused. What's that about? He just wants to help. She insists it doesn't matter and tells him to just go chill in the living room. He tries to push a little, saying he enjoys keeping someone company while they cook. But she keeps backing away, saying he's already standing too close. He replies that half a meter is already too far. She demands to know what he's trying to do, and he just pulls in close, saying he's not trying anything. He leans in and whispers that her sister's in the bathroom and probably won't be out anytime soon. You know how long women take. With a flash of heat, you already know what's about to go down. She kisses him quickly, but then pulls away, saying she needs to finish making dinner. A little later at the table, he tells her even Gordon Ramsay would be jealous of her dish, but Lai Meng cuts him off, telling him to stop flattering her and that she's got some questions for him. The sister asks how many girlfriends he's had, and he replies, only 2. Why? Oh, wait. She was asking how many he used to have, not how many he's dating now. I almost thought the dude was being way too bold. He gives that answer because as far as the public knows, he's only had a high school sweetheart and his ex-wife, that damn one who left him. Meng comments that, honestly, that's already quite a few, especially considering her sister has never been with anyone. She's worried he might take advantage of her. Our guy's a bit disappointed that she thinks 2 is already a lot. She starts grilling him with questions. Does he have any sisters? Where are his parents? All sorts of things, and 10 minutes later, he's already drained from answering so much. At least he's convinced now that if she's asking all that, then she must have talked things over with her sister and they reached some kind of understanding. So even if it seemed like an interrogation, it was actually a good sign, meant he was heading in the right direction. He lightly taps her shin with his foot, and she instantly has a mini meltdown, wondering what would happen if her sister walked in and saw something like that. Right then, she gets up and says she's got dishes to wash and things to take care of. Lai Meng notices something's off. She knows her sister likes Shen Yuan. So why is she being all stiff and quiet? She asks if he wants to stay a bit longer, but he stands up and says no. He's got other things to do. Truth is, if nothing's going down in this battlefield, it's time to head off to the next mission. 10 minutes after he leaves, Lai Meng asks why her sister didn't ask him anything, why she didn't confront him. Like Xiao, still thinking about all the crazy stuff he's done, admits he does seem more mature. More so than most guys, but they're not even in a relationship yet, and he already acts that way, so yeah, dangerous. And by the looks of it, Shen Yuan's already fired up. He showed up at Shen's place and started pulling her close, and she was just trying to figure out what the rush was. He told her to guess while rummaging around, asking if she still had that old uniform. Cut to the next scene, she's in uniform, asking why the heck he made her wear it. He just said, "Someday you'll understand," and launched the attack. Still, her affection was already at 90 smooth sailing. With affection past 50, the next girl was unlocked. He could choose to increase some stat, maybe height, not really sure, or get 5 million to spend however he like, or gain some special skill. But, of course, the guy's only thinking about that ability everyone would envy, the legendary card, the ultimate buff you couldn't find anywhere else on Earth. Too bad for Nana. She was the first one to feel the effects. What have happened? Nana's lying there, poor girl, saying something felt different this time. He asks what she means and she just says, "I don't know. It's just different," and is looking at her with sparkly eyes, realizing she must really like him. He couldn't even imagine what the reward would be if someone ever hit 100 affection. But it looked like he got another card. He ended up choosing the basic combat skill. Even a society full of laws, walking around with so many women, you never know when you'll become a target. On the flip side, he also got a repair ability. Maybe someday someone needs help, and he'll be the right person to show up. My god. The guy's still in bed and already planning his next fight. His eyes are blazing with determination. He's convinced that fixing the world is the better move. Just then, Nana gets a call from her mom. Her dad had a heart attack. They need money, all of that. He asks what happened. She explains, and he asks if she needs to go home. She says not tonight, it's already late, but she'll head there first thing in the morning. She knows that even though Shen Yuan is with her and cares, they are not officially together, so she can't really ask him to go with her. She says it's fine. She'll go alone tomorrow. Apparently, he will let her go alone, but he tells her, "If you need money, just send a message. I'll take care of it." Next morning, he wakes up and sees that she even made coffee for him and left it on the table. As always, this guy's alarm is, of course, a video call from a girl. Nangshi is showing him that his spot at school is all ready, and it got done so quickly because she made all the poor suckers who are fans of hers do the work for free. As soon as one of them finished, he asked if she needed anything else, and she just told him to get lost. He tried to insist, saying he wanted to help the student council more, but she was like, "Just keep walking," and the poor guy was left there crying. Apparently, he's been trying for 3 years now, and then out of nowhere, Shen Yuan shows up, and she suddenly turns cold. Thing is, she's falling for him because she knows that little setup at the school is basically a money pit. So if Shen Yuan dumped 10 million into that place, it means he clearly doesn't care about money. My god, she's already imagining herself as his secretary, with his hands all over her thighs. There are no normal women in this story, seriously. But, yes, she's thinking exactly that. Even if she can't be his girlfriend, she could still be a great secretary. All she has to do is prove how skilled she is. Okay then, if you say so. Cut to Nana arriving at her parents' place, asking where her dad is. He was in the hospital. Why are they at a restaurant? Her mom tells her to come in. It was a setup, of course. She says they didn't want to trick her, but she's already 27 and still doesn't have a boyfriend, so they brought over a young man, a family friend, to help her out. The guy's mom introduces him, his name is Don Kiddle, and invites Nana to drink with them tonight. She says they'll get along great. She casually throws in that her son owns a company with dozens of employees, earns over 10 million a year, has a nice car, a nice house. The guy tells her not to exaggerate. He just customized a BMW Series 5, nothing major. Oh, poor guy. You're facing an impossible opponent. Nana says, "Well, that's not bad at all. Congrats." And suddenly, the guy pulls out a ring. Thankfully, it wasn't for Nana. He was just giving it to her mom, saying it was a little gift for auntie. Her mom's thrilled, and the other mom is already on cloud 9, saying he'd make the perfect son-in-law. Her dad starts chatting with the guy, but Nana pulls her mom into the bedroom for a quick talk. Her mom scolds her, saying she shouldn't keep secrets when there are guests in the house. But Nana wants to know why she tricked her into coming to a blind date without even considering how she feel about it. Her mom tells her she needs to think things through. The girl upstairs is younger and already has 2 kids. Wait, since when is popping out children the one and only benchmark for a woman's success? That's not just old-fashioned. That's full-on sexist. Honestly, it's her mom who's the problem here. Dan is so tired, she doesn't even bother arguing. There's just no point. So she messages Shen Yuan, telling him everything, and right away he says he's coming over. She's startled, wondering why he's suddenly on the way. What's he planning? She turns to her mom all cheerful now and says a friend is coming. Her mom wants to know if it's a guy or a girl, and Nana just tells her she'll find out when they arrive. They keep sipping drinks. A few more minutes go by, and suddenly, guess who shows up, loaded with bags? Our boy walks in and introduces himself as her boyfriend. You could call the legend Shen Yuan, and yes, he brought gifts. Meanwhile, the other guy is standing there with a baby-sized wine glass. What even is that? Looks like a bottle cap. The parents, especially her bowling ball-headed dad, are totally confused. Who is this madman claiming to be her boyfriend when they've never heard anything about it? But Chen Wen just brushes it off, gestures to the mountain of presents, and says there's no need for all these formalities. From now on, they are all family. And the parents, they are just seeing gold reflected in their eyes, man. They ask how much all this cost, and he just